The MasterCard pregame show, brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
116 wins down, 11 more to go to immortality. The Mariners may have had the best record, but the Indians are out to prove that doesn't make them the best team in baseball. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. Welcome to the postseason. I'm Jeannie Velasco along with Kevin Kennedy. The road to the World Series goes through Fox Sports. And before we move forward, we have to look back on what an incredible regular season it was, Kevin, the Seattle Mariners.
A phenomenal season, 116 victories. I don't think anybody would have predicted that before the season started. They were #1 in team pitching, #1 in team fielding, #1 in team hitting. Virtually no holes in this ball club, but it doesn't mean a thing if they don't go to the World Series and win it all.
Coincidentally, the Mariners woke up this morning with the same record as everybody else, 0-0. Translated, that means unless they can beat the Cleveland Indians 3 times in the next week, none of those accolades will matter.
No, they're going to be tough. And you look at that offense, that's a dangerous team that at any time can come out and kick your butt. And we know that. They've got our respect as a team. They've got a lot of postseason experience.
Obviously, keep Ichiro off the bases and play the little game. You know, little games mean a lot in postseason. If you can get good pitching, do little things on defense. And with our offense, hopefully we can get a big hitter there and do it.
He left out the most important key to this series, no jewelry. We saw what happened last time.
No
a lot of history between these two clubs in this season in particular with the jewelry gate, the diamond earring, and of course the come from behind win for the Indians of the Jake.
I think that was their turnaround. The Cleveland Indians came back from a 14-2 deficit and defeated the Seattle Mariners. Big offensive night late in the ballgame, and of course Jim Thome came up in that ballgame, and he was the one that had a big hit in the game off the wall. This guy had a big year for him again, as usual. Now, late in the ball game, what's ironic about this, Omar Vizquel, this is one of the runs being scored right here, Kenny Lofton. The winning run right there, actually, Kenny Lofton being scored. But one of the key guys in the ball game was Omar Vizquel. He had a triple in that ball game in the 9th inning.
And he was at the bottom of
to help tie the ball game. And he was involved in this right here. Remember the earring with Arthur Rhodes in the daylight? Vizquel says, I can't see the earring has to come off. Technically, it is in the rule book. There can be no jewelry on your face. And Arthur Rhodes said, that little guy challenged me. You got to be kidding me. But Vizquel, remember, was a Seattle Mariner to begin with before he got traded to Cleveland. So a lot of history aside from 2 good ball clubs. But Seattle has won 5 of the 7 ball games.
So Lou Piniella says he might wear an earring today. So if for nothing else.
He wants a different kind of ring.
Yeah, that's very true. One game, by the way, is already in the books. The postseason kicked off this morning in Houston with the opener of the National League Division Series between the Astros and the Braves. To Enron Field we go. And hail to the Chiefs. You're going to have a game in Texas. You've got to bring Prez.
Absolutely. Hey, he's a big baseball fan. He's in Houston. He was in the Astrodome. He's here today. It's great to see him.
And he's enjoying this. Bottom 5. Atlanta with a 2-zip lead. Brad Ausmus with the hot bat. The 2-run shot ties the game to a beat. Get the top 8. Everybody has 3. Billy Wagner's in to close. It's over, right,
Kevin? Well, set the stage. It's the 8th inning. This game got tied up, 1st and 2nd, so they wanted to turn Chipper Jones around. He hit right-handed, where he doesn't hit as many home runs, but he goes deep off of Billy Wagner, and the Braves take the big lead right here, 7-4.
It is 7-4. We should do a little more math for you here. Andrew Jones with a solo shot. Vinny Casilla made it 7-4. Biggio and Bagwell, we pick on them so much, the Killer Bees. We should let you know they each have 1 hit in this one. And we'll keep an eye on Houston and whether their postseason woes will continue, but certainly the bullpen letting them down, Kevin.
Well, that's what you wanted to get to, was the bullpen. I mean, Houston Astros with the lead are lights out normally with that bullpen. They got 4 guys that can close in there. What happened? Mike Jackson came in with a 1-run lead. He gave up 1 run, then had a double play ball that was booted by Lugo, forcing Billy Wagner to come in this ballgame. Mike Williams didn't come in, not Dotel. Larry Durkin says, I'm bringing in my lefty, Billy Wagner, right now, at home in a tie game. Not a bad move, but Chipper Jones, last year, Don Baylor helped him hitting right-handed, so you've got to hit for more power right-handed. He had a home run every 11 at-bats, better ratio than left-handed. Billy Wagner got beat today.
And we now have a final at Enron Field. 7-4 as the Braves take game 1, and they don't want to go home. Coming up, we'll use Kevin Kennedy's keys to unlock the secret to success at Safeco Field. And this is where the rubber meets the toe. We'll break down the arms race that could mean a trip to the ALCS.
It's the party to end all parties pregame show.
And welcome to those of you in Atlanta who just watched the Braves take a 1-zip lead in the NLDS. It is cloudy and cold at Safeco. Time to shut the roof. If only shutting down Ichiro was that easy. The Indians can handle the cold, but manager Charlie Manuel says his biggest concern in this series can be summed up in one word: Ichiro. The same word that my manager's using here.
Yeah, Ginny, when you prepare your ball club for the playoffs, you do focus on a few key things, and you've got to start with Seattle Mariners. You've got to stop Ichiro if you can. Obviously, 407 average versus the Cleveland Indians. #1 in stolen bases this year with 56. This guy led the league in hits. He's phenomenal. Strike first, go to the starters, or get the starters early. The Seattle bullpen is phenomenal, so you want to get to the starters if you can, but Freddy Garcia pitching today, he's tough. Shut down Boone. Well, you shut down Boone by shutting down Ichiro at the top, because then he may not drive in a bunch of runs. Maybe the home run will be a solo home run. He led the American League with 141 this year. For the Seattle Mariners, score early and often. When they score first, they are 86-9. That is very, very tough to beat. I think keep Kenny Lofton and Vizquel off base because of their on-base percentage. They set the table for the big guys like Gonzalez and Tomei. And I think if you keep them off, you got a chance to win this ball game. Starters have to go 7 innings only because the bullpen is so good. Third best ERA right there, 3.79 in the major leagues. So if the starters go 7, they're in pretty good shape. Very, very tough and even matchup, but both ball clubs, I think, were dominant in their divisions, even though the Twins played well. We knew that the Indians were going to win the Central, and we knew Seattle won back in April or May.
Yeah, I think we all know that Seattle has the better pitching, but of course the Indians thrive off quality pitching. So can you break down this matchup?
Absolutely. Bartolo Colon for the Indians is the guy that throws anywhere from 98 to 99 miles an hour. Sometimes he'll hit 100, 7 to 8 times a ball game. Good overhand curveball, occasional changeup. He's got to be dominant. Sometimes he gets in trouble with his control. Freddy Garcia, good fastball, 94 to 95. Excellent changeup and a good overhand curveball. He's come into his own this year as really the ace of their staff, even though Moyer was a 20-game winner this year. Now, Colon, 2-1, good earned run average at Safeco Field. That's a good sign. Garcia, that's a good sign. Both guys pitch well. Both guys are aces. Both guys should have a good performance today.
And another performance to look forward to tonight on the Fox Family Channel as we check out Bracketville and the journey to the World Series. The Diamondbacks hosting at St. Louis. We got Morris, we've got Schilling, 2 22-game winners going at it. Look for that on the Fox Family Channel. Of course, Cleveland at Seattle coming at you momentarily. That'll do it for us. The journey begins in the Emerald City, the home of the great and powerful M's. The best that baseball has to offer is out to retain that title. Of course, now the Indians stand in the way. The road to the World Series continues next on Fox.
Division Series on Fox, presented by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Cool and clearing here in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to the American League Division Series. Today, Game 1 in a best-of-5 playoff. The Central Division champion Cleveland Indians against the runaway train that is Seattle. And that compass on the Mariners logo may as well be a bullseye. Everyone taking aim at the Mariners, who tied a Major League record with 116 wins. Josh Lewin along with Rex Hudler, 13-year Major League veteran Rex Hudler. And wow, what a year for Seattle.
Oh, Josh, unbelievable. They've been great. They've been first in offense, defense, and pitching. That'll make it tough for Cleveland to knock them off.
Yeah, and they really needed to achieve a couple things in the offseason. They needed a leadoff hitter. They needed to replace Alex Rodriguez. Done and done.
Wow, they didn't think they had to go all the way to the Far East to Japan to find their leadoff guy, but what a find. Ichiro Suzuki has been everything. 350 average, 56 bags he's got this year to propel his team. And Brett Boone, who was a free agent to anybody's taking, he's stepped in and put up Alex Rodriguez type numbers, has been a savior for Lou Piniella.
Couple of MVP candidates right there. Obviously, the Indians a decided underdog. They won 25 fewer games than the Mariners did this past season. Omar Vizquel told us he knows Cleveland's up against it.
We can't afford to make any mental mistake. We have to be able to play our best game. And I just try to concentrate to do the little things because they execute so well. You know, they bunt, they bring the guys in with less than 2 outs. They move the guys over when they need to move it on. And you know, they also play in the little ball. They hit and run, they steal bases. So it's going to be a really tough challenge for us.
Well, Omar Vizquel and the man that hits in front of him, Kenny Lofton, both could be huge in this series for Cleveland.
No difference in Seattle. Their leadoff men have got to get on and be the catalyst for these guys. Alomar, you could put him anywhere. He's a power guy now. Gonzalez, whoa, he'll widen up that strike zone to get the job done. Tomey, he will hit tape measure bombs if the pitch is not pitched properly. Look at the numbers, 336, 49, 140. They can get the job done if the Rabbits get on.
Yeah, Lofton and Vizquel, though, and yes, you're right, they must get on. They are 2 for 22 combined against the guy on the right of your screen, Freddy Garcia. He's got the best ERA in the league. Bartolo Galone goes for the Indians, who certainly have a veteran group that'll be out there against the Mariners today. Game 1 from Seattle begins right after this on Fox. Well, Cleveland finished the regular season 20 games over 500. Seattle, an astonishing 70 games over 500. And you wouldn't figure a team 70 over needs any additional inspiration. But they got some moments ago. The exchanging of the lineup cards and their shortstop, who was sidelined with pulmonary tuberculosis. Carlos Guillen has lost 10 pounds, but he's out there. And now the Mariners are ready to go.
Yes. Josh, in 140 games, he only made 10 errors at shortstop. Since Alex Rodriguez's departure, Guillen has been their man. Now they're going to pass. He's going to pass the baton to Mark McLemore for today's game and this whole series.
Show you the Cleveland Indians starting lineup. And again at the top, Lofton and Vizquel have got to get on to set up the rest. And the biggest guy among the rest is the man that just hit that home run. That's Jim Tomey. The starting lineup for the Indians brought to you by MasterCard. And Tomey, hitting in between Gonzalez and Burke, finds that's an awful nice place to be. He's got 50 home runs, but here's the guy who is the stingiest among all American League pitchers, starting pitchers, in allowing home runs, Freddy Garcia.
Yeah, Freddy has just had a dream season. He's got his emotions in check. That's been a problem from him the last couple of years. But now he's got the maturity and he's got the pitches to go with him. He's got to spot that fastball to set up his other pitches. He's using the same arm slot and the same speed, and that's what's so deceiving about his pitches. His changeup runs down and into righties and away from left-handers. But he's got a two-seam fastball, four-seam fastball, curve, and a changeup. And I will show you his grips. There's the four-seamer. Over here, that's the high riding fastball. He likes that one. The two-seam, that sinks and goes down. Changeup, oh man, that's a baffler. Who knows? And the curveball, it goes down, and also one will sweep down, and the other will come straight down like a hammer.
Making his first start as a 25-year-old, he just had a birthday this past weekend, as if there wasn't enough to celebrate already. The league lead in ERA with a record of 18-6 to go with. And the Mariners defense, well, we'll put it to you this way, a dozen fewer errors than any other team in the league. Mark McLemore does have to play short, but he says, hey, I'm absolutely fine with that. It reminds us he came up as a shortstop. He's got a glove for every position. He is ready to go wherever Lou Piniella wants him to. He says shortstop is perfect.
Well, he's been a catalyst off the bench, and every manager would love to have a guy like McLemore. There's Guy in there, and his teammates are so happy to see him, and he has given them a nice emotional lift during this time. But it's going to be McLemore who's going to get most of the action.
Underway with strike one called. Kenny Lofton 0 for 10 against Garcia. He struck out twice against him. Last time he faced him, once on a fastball, once on a change. Gets a dart down and in here, 1-1.
Corners for Lou Piniella's team are in. Olerud, Bell, they're in on the grass because Lofton still will bunt at any time. He's got good speed, and he has the ability to handle that bat.
One down, first inning. And Rex, if there's one thing you are guaranteed to hear more than once regarding this series, if Cleveland's going to compete, they must have Kenny Lofton's A game. And the only 2 wins the Tribe had against Seattle this year, Lofton 8 of 11. When they bottled him up, well, the Mariners won 5 times.
That's right. Lofton's going to be their key. Vizquel, if he can't get it done, Omar has to. He, like Lofton, can use the bunt.
Yes, he can, though he flat-batted foul. And Vizquel, Rex, he was an immensely popular player here in Seattle in the early 90s, but now you just heard he got the booing equivalent of the full Monty, all because of Arthur Rhodes and those earrings.
Right. But still, Omar, deep down, the people really appreciate what he's done. He left Seattle, he went to Cleveland and solidified that middle.
Well, the Rhodes and Vizquel showdown. However, Rhodes is, well, accessorizing, I suppose.
Well, look, those earrings are shining from here. We can see him in the shade even.
0-2.
But, you know, what's an advantage to Cleveland is their first 3 hitters all handle the bat well. Charlie Manuel, he can hit and run with his guys. They all can bunt, move runners over. And that's an advantage, especially Alomar, your number 3 hitter.
Twisted in the air to left. Javier battling the glare of that sun. He's got it. Left field is the Sun field. And the Indians, by the way, have only played 1 day game here. This field has only been around for a couple of seasons, and the Indians will take a test drive in the field. Al Martin usually plays left, but a weakened throwing arm means Javier is out there today.
Yeah, it's a shame for Al, but he just is having too much pain, and you've got to be able to throw runners out. But that sun is really something. Now, the glasses help, but there's nothing better than using your glove properly. The minute that ball's hit, you got to put it up there.
Another attempt to bunt. And the Indians, you know, we talk about Ichiro, and we will ad nauseum about what he can do with the bat, and bunting a big part of his game. But, you know, the Indians' top 3, Lofton, Vizquel, and Alomar, you can argue those are 3 of the best bunters in baseball.
That's exactly what I was telling you earlier. It's an advantage to have that. Now, they want to swing early off Freddy because Freddy has such a devastating changeup and curveball. His 2 off-speed pitches are marvelous. He only uses 3 pitches. So they're going to swing early or bunt like you've seen Vizquel and Alomar try to do, just to get on base and make things happen.
And again, to make things happen, Lou Piniella, Charlie Manuel both well aware of the statistical evidence. Lofton and Vizquel do not hit Garcia well. And the Indians very much need those guys to get on to set up Alomar and Gonzalez. Shaves the outside corner, 2-2.
Day games here in Seattle, the sun is a factor, and you can see it coming right there in front of home plate. There's a nice 2-seam running fastball. So the hitter will have to really focus in the afternoon games with that shadow.
Boone is back. Here comes Seattle. And Ichiro in a scoreless first inning. Lou Piniella willing to hear the cautionary tale about great teams getting upset in the playoffs. He lived it. His 1990 Reds stunned the Oakland A's in the World Series. Now he sends out this lineup for the Mariners, brought to you by MasterCard. And Edgar Martinez, another very solid season. And with Brett Boone and Mark McLemore and Ichiro in front of Martinez, plentiful RBI opportunities, you figure, in this series. Here is Bartolo Colon, whose final regular season tune-up putt was a stinker. 1 1/3 innings, 6 runs, 5 earned against Kansas City.
Yeah, he said he was off of his game, no doubt about it, but he says, today's a whole new game. I feel healthy, but he's got to hit both sides of the plate like his buddy Freddy Garcia. Fastball has got to set up those other pitches. It keeps him off balance. He's going to have to do that as well. Fastball, curveball, slider change. That fastball at 4-seam, he can run it up to 99 miles an hour. It's a good fastball hitting team he's facing in Seattle.
Now the plan with Ichiro, Charlie Manuel tells us, is to definitely pitch him up and in, not to strike him out necessarily, but to get him to hit the ball on the ground to one of those Gold Glovers at short or second.
But that's not an easy chore to get him out, even if he does that. I mean, he showed this year, I've seen him beat out balls to the second baseman. 3 hoppers to the left or right. Normally that doesn't happen. To the shortstop, sure, but to the second baseman, unheard of. Ichiro, he can flat fly, and that puts pressure on the defense, and sometimes they make mistakes when they know they have to be perfect.
They pitch him away this time, and you see Omar Vizquel playing him decidedly away into the hole between short and third.
That's right, and Lofton at the top of the screen, he's over. He's left to second base, a shade to the opposite field. But the infielders are shortened up. They're not as deep as they normally are. And you can't play a speedy guy like Ichiro all the way back if you're a shortstop or a second baseman. You got to come in, cheat a little bit so you can. It'll help you get that throw to first to get him.
That's what Charlie Manuel was talking about. Try and bust him in and get him to swing at that pitch. But Ichiro didn't bite. The count is full.
Every leadoff hitter's job is to see as many pitches as they can in their first at-bat. They're like a spy. When they'll go back in the dugout, they'll find out, show his teammates exactly what he's throwing, what pitches look good, and that's what Ichiro's done here.
He slams it into right. He is on to start the game for Seattle.
Perfect at-bat to start for the Mariners. He worked the count to 3-2, saw them all, and here it was, a fastball by Colon. It's hard to get one by him. He doesn't see that. He never saw a 95 or 96 in Japan, but it doesn't matter. He can turn on it just like he did there.
And in spring training, Lou Piniella wasn't convinced of that. He saw him slapping that inside pitch to left field. Finally went up to him and said, "Can you just show me if you can yank one into right?" He said, "Oh, sure." Then did it about a half dozen times in a row. He just did it to Colon. And the batter is McLemore.
Now, everybody knows that Ichiro can steal those bases. Now, Colon, he's got a slide step, and that helps. That's going to help Einar Diaz, the catcher, throw out Ichiro. McLemore, a left-handed batter, that's an advantage to the runner, as the catchers all throw right-handed, and the left-handed batter's in the way most of the time.
Diaz, the best in the league in throwing out attempted base stealers. But Ichiro, the man that had the most stolen bases, shading Roger Cedeno of Detroit.
Every catcher will tell you they need some help from their pitchers. The pitchers have got to be able to get that ball to them after they break their hands from their stretch position. But Ichiro, he's not a guy who's just going to go out there and run. He's a good situational base runner. He'll take off and he'll steal on the proper pitch. He tries to pick an off-speed pitch. He gives him more time.
And Hud, Bartolo Colon has been told all year that he must pitch like a #1 starter. Now that the playoffs have begun, a gentle suggestion, pitch like someone else's #1 starter. Cleveland's record in its last 9 opening games of a playoff series is 1-8. They cannot afford to get behind Seattle early.
The toughest thing for a base runner when you're trying to steal is when that pitcher holds the ball. You're like a track star in the blocks, getting ready to listen to the opening gun to take off. And you get a little jittery over there. So when the pitcher holds it, sometimes that's an effective way to keep him down.
Mark McLemore at the plate, by the way, who has only seen 2 pitches, is known for being one of the more patient batters in the league anyway. And it's not like he's going to be over-anxious when Colon finally comes to the plate, which he'll have to do eventually. Peels it away and heading for the stand. Mark McLemore, the 16-year Major League veteran. And among the more versatile players in baseball, HUD, which is why at 37 years old, he gets to call it short in this series.
Well, the reason why is he's earned it. He's worked hard. In spring training, Pat Gillick and Lou Piniella went out and they said, we got to find a backup because Carlos Guillen's history of physical problems. And so Vasquez is right here on your left. This is Vasquez. He's the guy they called up. But McLemore went out in spring training and played flawless shortstop. Therefore, they didn't have to make a move.
Checking his swing. On appeal, yes, he did, says Jerry Lane. Check his swing, 2-2.
Bartolo's rushing it up there. Now, when you have a guy who can steal bases like Ichiro, it's usually to the hitter's advantage who hits behind him because they want to cut down on the time. They're going to see more fastballs. McLemore, good fastball hitter, as well as the whole Mariners staff. And Bartolo, he's racking up the pitches here, throwing a lot early. There's no outs.
Ichiro has not been in motion yet. Strike 3 to McLemore. And the first hurdle's cleared for Bartolo Colon. We'll check the defense for the Indians. Ellis Burks looks at it and loves it.
You start up the middle with Roberto Alomar and Omar Vizquel. That's the key to our team right there. Anything up the middle, Kenny Lofton in center field, all these guys have won 5+ gold gloves. And when you have a team like that that have won those many gold gloves, I mean, you're going to have a great defensive team.
How about 21 gold gloves just up the middle? Second, short, and center field.
Yeah, that's what will win you games and championships. Solid pitching, good defense, and timely hitting. Speaking of timely hitting, how about this guy stepping in?
Well, the Mariners, the only team this winter smart enough to sign Brett Boone. Truth be told, HUD, he was their second runner-up selection. The Mariners wanted Jose Valentin. They wanted Alex Gonzalez. Neither of those guys worked out. So at the plate, you're looking at Plan C. And he is a leading MVP candidate.
Absolutely. What Boone has done is he's worked hard in the offseason, last offseason. He's pumped some iron. He's gotten stronger. But his stance is he's open, so he's able to see that ball very well. And he's confident. That's the biggest thing a ball player has going for him. Confidence.
This series features the 2 most productive second basemen in the game, at least this year, Boone and that guy, Roberto Alomar.
You know, Boone's numbers is phenomenal. It may not have to be a second baseman with those type of numbers, especially in the RBI department.
And, you know, Cleveland was the team that actually showed the most interest in signing him, he tells us. Had the Indians pulled off the Alomar for Raul Mondesi deal, that would have been their plan. But keeping Alomar, they obviously had no need for Boone. So instead, he's on the other side today and can beat Charlie Manuel.
So now Boone has altered his stance. He was more upright and he was closed. And now all of a sudden, he's back to opening up again. This really gives him a clear vision, and he's able to inside out and hit the ball for power to right field. There's a pitch out, and I think Cleveland's wondering why Ichiro hasn't attempted a stolen base yet. I think the game plan for the Mariners is to make Bartolo throw the ball, make him throw pitches, expend himself here early. If they can get to that bullpen, I think they're better off.
Colon needed 11 pitches through the first 2 batters. He's also exhausting himself with all these tosses to first.
That's part of the Mariners' game. And when you have speed, like the Mariners do, you're going to cause some problems. You're going to wear them down. It's more mentally taxing than anything else. 174 stolen bases by the Mariners this year as a team.
Foul ball, count a holding 1-2. It's kind of bizarre, too, Hud, to pick these guys as a run-and-gun style of team. Lou Piniella in the old days, as you look at the check swing foul, certainly tailored his team to the old ballpark, the Kingdom. They were all about the 3-run home run.
Oh, well, that was a bandbox. Now, Lou Piniella has a nice ballpark wide open in a pitcher's park.
The first and foul. Brett Boone sawed off by Bartolo Colon.
Colon will break a lot of bats as he throws that heavy two-seamer, which runs into the right-handed batter. You can see he was tardy on it, but Jim Thome, he had it covered. Had that line taken care of. But Boone, like I talked about, the ability to hit the ball to right field has really opened up his offensive game. He's no longer just a dead fastball pull hitter. Confidence.
Ichiro still has not moved off first, and Boone is down on strikes.
Here's a little cheese on the outside corner. Wow, that is smoking. And, you know, there's a lot of different terminologies for fastball. There's cheese and queso and all kinds of ball player terms that guys will use, but that is just a nasty, hard outside fastball.
Well, give me something that doesn't stem from the dairy family. Now, queso is Spanish for cheese, right?
That's exactly right. You hear a lot of that.
Edgar Martinez. And some gas right there. How's that? Gas.
Gas is good, too. You're going to like that. Buzz is a word they use when there's movement. There's some buzz on that one. There's all kinds of terminologies, but still, the main thing that Bartolo Colon wants to do is work both sides of the plate. And since Ichiro got on, he has done that.
Slapped over to third. If that's Ichiro batting, he beats it out. That is Edgar Martinez, and he does not beat it out. The leadoff single doesn't blossom. Here comes Gonzalez in a scoreless game.
Longest lasting trucks on the road.
In Seattle, where the Mariners ended up with 116 wins, that tied the Major League regular season record. They lost the season finale by a run, denying them 117, something they were truly bummed about. They have made a team with Alomar, Thome, and Juan Gonzalez on it. A decided underdog heading in the first game in a best-of-5. Josh Lewin, Rex Hudler, great to have you with us here in what is turning into a beautiful afternoon here in Seattle.
Roof here is retractable. It'll come on and off, but when it's closed, the ball carries better for the hitters. And heck, the hitters like that. It's already a pitcher's ballpark, but with it open right here, beautiful skyline of Seattle in the background, and beautiful day. A little slight breeze going to right field.
Juan Gonzalez trying to amp it back up again. He finished the regular season 0 for his last 15. Actually 3 for his last 37. Can he flip the switch today?
When postseason ball comes around, it's always about pitching, and that will good pitching will nullify good hitting anytime. But you know, it's totally different. The numbers we read for their season is impressive, but when they get out here now, it's totally different, and the Mariners are happy to face Juan with no one on.
Another lob shot from Garcia onto the outside corner, 1-2.
So Freddy is not going to come after these guys with dead fastballs all the time. He's going to mix them up early, because he knows how important it is in this game, in a short 5-game series, to go right after them and try to keep them off balance.
Now trying to get the fastball in. Instead it's dumped towards center. What a play by McLemore! I guess he can play shortstop, huh?
Oh, this is a real tough play for shortstop. Look at him check the center fielder, how he's coming, how close he's going to be. Spreads out, concentration, lands. Beautiful catch. Garcia jammed Gonzalez. Now, it's a good chance to get on base for a big slugger. McLemore says, no chance. Fully spread out, got his uniform dirty with a little grass stain and loves it.
Jim Thome jerking the first one foul. Freddy Garcia liked what he saw. Those are 37-year-old legs that carried Mark McLemore back into shallow left center to make that catch. Thome taking into snug 1-1.
Don't let that age fool you, though, on McLemore. 39 bags he stole this year.
A career best. Off the plate outside to Thome, who finished 1 home run shy of 50. Was stuck on 49 for the final week and a half.
What a comeback year. The way he started, like they were writing him off already in Cleveland. And he put the pedal to the metal and then started hitting that ball and crushing it. Very strong guy. It's all his power from his lower half. Torso on down. He'll tell you that is where his strength lies.
He did lead the American League in strikeouts. In fact, almost set a league record. But he is the guy that will come up with a postseason home run for you.
185 strikeouts for the big man. Still, when he connects, heck, he's 49 homers, 124 ribbies. They're looking for that kind of production. They'll let the strikeouts go.
Got him.
Freddy's first strikeout of the day, and it's Thome. Look at that little two-seam sinker. That's some good movement on it.
Another of the guys that's been there, done that, Ellis Burks, who is hoping that the 7th time is a charm. He has already been in 6 playoff series, but has never advanced to the World Series.
Josh, you could, as we interviewed him yesterday, you could just feel his presence, and you know he already was putting his game face on the whole day before. He's on a mission. He wants to help Cleveland go all the way this year. He loved it in San Francisco. Dusty Baker, you know, in his opinion and mine too, is one of the best managers out there. And he was a good leader on that team. And when he left there to play in the American League, it was because he wanted to DH, get off of his knees.
Swept foul, now 2-1. Now remember, the Indians decided not to make a charge at re-signing Manny Ramirez. They figured with that money, we can go ahead and get Juan Gonzalez and Ellis Burks. The Indians are in the playoffs. The Red Sox, who signed Ramirez, are not, so I guess it worked out.
Charlie's been battling some injuries himself. It's a colon problem all year, but he seems to be fine and says he's healthy.
Drilled back this way, 2-2. Garcia, it seems like, Hud, is doing precisely what the Indians want Colon to do, to challenge the right-handers with the fastball.
Like I said, it's a very spacious park here. Ball, you know, doesn't carry as well as it does at the Jake, Cleveland. So they're going to go after it.
Hammered to left. That ball was left up, and it's down into the corner. Ellis Burks is the first Cleveland base runner of the afternoon.
This is what a major league hitter looks for. It's a mistake. It's hard to hit the pitcher's pitch, but you wait for that mistake, and there it was. Dan Wilson was setting up away, and it was out over the plate. Burks knows what to do with a mistake. They're lucky it stayed in the park. That'll quiet a crowd quicker than anything.
And this is a tough crowd to quiet. All the years of nothing happening for this franchise, and now this year can't be much more special than 116-46. Twyman takes the strike.
Freddy leads him off with that nice curveball he's got. That's the 1 12-6 rotation. straight down. He has another one that fades away a little bit. Doesn't have that downward rotation, but that's a good pitch to start a guy with who loves the fastball like Fryman.
He does not get a fastball, 0-2.
And if you're a hitter and you're trying to be successful, you must look fastball all the way and adjust to the breaking pitches. Fryman was guessing there, thinking after the curveball first pitch he was going to get a fastball, and it didn't happen. Freddy doubled up with 2 in a row.
Come on back, Freddy. 1-2.
And Dan Wilson, his catcher today, doesn't get a lot of attention like he should. This guy is a real nice catcher. Look at him frame that up for home plate umpire Steve Ripley. It's really excellent in calling games, blocking the ball, blocking the plate when runners come home. Dan Wilson has been everything that Lou Piniella wanted from him when he acquired him in Cincinnati. When Lou was over there, Wilson was in the system. He brought him with him. Lou kept saying, I'm going to get some pitching. One of these days, I'll get it.
Well, these are those days, no question. Freddy Garcia led the league in innings pitched, that at the age of 24. Again, we mentioned he just turned 25 a couple days ago. And they'll go from a lion to a lamb in game 2. You go from the hard-throwing Garcia to that guy, Mr. Finesse, Jamie Moyer.
He's a soft tosser, but believe me, after seeing Garcia and then facing Moyer, that's quite a change in speed. So what Travis Fryman's doing now is he's trying to widen the plate a little bit. When there's a runner in scoring position and you're counted on to knock him in, you don't have to hit necessarily a ball right over the plate. Try to stretch it out the plate a little bit and peck him in. No matter what you can do, hit the ball to the right field, doink it in, or hit a liner, anything to get the ball in the outfield.
Remember, it looked like Gonzalez was going to be aboard on, what did you call it, a doink?
A doinker.
But Mark McLemore made that terrific catch.
Fryman's impressing me working the count to 3-2, laying off of those borderline pitches. That'll be interesting to see if Freddy will challenge the fastball hitting Fryman.
Now, the book on Travis is to get him out, down, and away.
That's where Freddy's been shooting for.
Came in on him, and a foul ball.
You'll watch when there's a runner on second base, the catcher Dan Wilson, he'll wait and move late. He'll sit behind the plate, he'll give the sign, and then when Freddy starts his motion, then he'll move to the spot he wants the ball to not give away the location to the hitter. Or the runner who's back there on second could relay the sign of location to the hitter. Big lead by Burks. He'll need a good secondary lead to score.
Yeah, Burks with a couple of truly demolished knees. Looks for every extra inch that he can get off that bag. 3-2 the count. Got him. Scoreless in Seattle.
Napa, we keep America running. And by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Game 1 of the American League Division Series. Cleveland at Seattle. Josh Lewin, Rex Hudler here on Fox today. No scores. Olerud, Cameron, and Javier for the Mariners against the hard-throwing Bartolo Colon.
Olerud quietly went about his job as he normally does. Probably will win another Gold Glove at first base. Very soft hands. He's complimented that infield well. And he's went out and hit 300 again. Very consistent. Inside-out hitter, uses the whole field. Sprays it around. He does have some pop. 21 homers this season.
97-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's it for Olerud. Third strikeout for Bartolo Colon already. The folks coming up tonight over on Fox Family, game 1 of the division series between Albert Pujols and the Cardinals and Kurt Schilling and the NL West champion Diamondbacks. It's presented by Budweiser, and you'll see it at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The road to the World Series continuing all across the Fox networks. Those of you watching in St. Louis and Phoenix, your local Fox Network affiliates will be carrying that game for you. And everybody else, you're invited to check it out on Fox Family.
High-flying Cards. They really dealt at the end of the season, I'll tell you. They put it on.
Although had they won on that final day of the season, they would have been rewarded with a couple things. They would have been able to stay at home. They would have avoided that 1-2 punch of the big unit and Kurt Schilling.
You know, Tony La Russa says, bring them on. We have to get through them anyway. At some point, might as well have them early.
Colon way ahead of Cameron, 0-2. Now, Hud, I'll suggest to you, the Indians, maybe, of all teams, provide the best available reminder to Seattle that just because you dominated the regular season, there are no guarantees. 47 years ago, the Indians went 111-43, had the second best winning percentage in the history of Major League Baseball. And in the postseason, they were swept. No parting gifts, no World Series jewelry. Just a cautionary tale for every juggernaut to saunter down the pike since then.
That's right, you never know.
Cameron
Look at that.
is disposed of, and that's 4 strikeouts for Colon.
That one looking. Bartolo is starting to hit his spots. After 19 pitches in the first inning, he's coming out and being very efficient. Look at that. Ooh, man, on the outside corner. That had a little hair on it. That's another term.
The walking thesaurus that is Rex Hudler.
Well placed and almost unhittable.
Well, it's been no balls and 7 strikes in this inning so far. That ball curling to the left field line off the bat of Javier. It's down for a base hit. And Hud, I tell you, Cordova was groping for that ball like a light switch in the dark. He just couldn't get it.
It's nasty. Javier, who's been awesome this year in his roll out in the outfield for New Planella, he inside outs this one, right into the sunshine. Cordova, he put the glasses down, but there was no chance he could have got to that. Left-handed batter, ball be slicing towards the left field line. Cordova says, all right, we'll give you a double and no more with 2 outs here.
Again, reasonably unfamiliar territory and shading for the Cleveland left fielder today. Marty Cordova getting the call. Russ Brandon was a possibility. Will Cordero. 2-out double brings up Dan Wilson. Now, if there's anybody in this game, Hud, with something to prove, you're probably looking at him. Dan Wilson, career in the postseason is 3 out of 60.
Well, he told me today that even though he likes hitting the fastball, he'll try to lay off of that high fastball from Colon.
Broken bat. Vizquel hustles it over to Tomey and make Wilson 3 out of 61. 2-out doubles, but nothing else, and there's still no score.
Series on Fox, presented by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Well, we figured on low scoring. Seattle and Cleveland have already been in an NFL game this year that was, well, 9-6. 5 field goals, nothing else.
Wow.
And true to form today, at least so far, Freddy Garcia and Bartolo Colon are doing just fine. Ball 1 up and in to Marty Cordova. Colon, 11 consecutive strikes.
After that 19-pitch first inning, Colon settling down. Garcia seems to have things going his way as well.
8-9-1 in the Cleveland order.
Cordova, I think, Josh, he earns a spot out there in left field for this playoff. I mean, he's been 409 at-bats this year. He's hit 300, 301 on the nose, 20 homers, 69 RBIs. Some people think he could be comeback player of the year.
And in typical Charlie Manuel fashion, Charlie telling us we got to stick with the girl you brought to the dance. I'm sticking with Cordova, guys.
That's perfect, Charlie. What a baseball man.
I tell you, if Yogi Berra had grown up in West Virginia, he'd have been Charlie.
Well, there's a lot of Yogi in Charlie.
What was Charlie's gold medal winner? Yogi isn't this year. He said, we'll tackle that bridge when we come to it.
It's just great to talk to Charlie. He's such a baseball man. I mean, he played overseas in Japan for several years, managed here in minors.
Did Garcia get him? Yeah. These two hard-throwing right-handers settling in nicely, Garcia and Colon.
There's that curveball that goes away from the right-hander. Outside corner. Looks good when it leaves his hand to the hitter. But then when you try to swing it, it's gone. Poof.
Freddy Garcia pitched only half a season last year. Had a hairline fracture in his leg. This year, completely healthy. Led the league in innings pitched in ERA. Diaz after the first one. McLemore, rock solid still. The backup. Again, he can play anywhere, but they need him to play shortstop with Guillen out.
Whenever the shortstop ranges to his right on the run coming in, it's a tough play. McLemore, his feet are perfect. Throws off his right foot, gets on top of it. Nice strike to Olerud. McLemore's telling himself right now, hey, I'm the man. I'm your shortstop. And that's what a player has to do. You have to be very confident when you're in a game of this magnitude.
Lofton showing bunt. And shortstop such a key position. Remember in the '68 World Series, kind of an unconventional thing when the Tigers switched up shortstops at the last minute. They went and actually got it done and beat the St. Louis Cardinals. Mark McLemore is not assured of playing short all the way through if the Mariners do get to the World Series. Guillen could be back by then, but Lou Piniella says probably not.
I mean, the fact that McLemore has been flawless at short all year, I mean, that saved Lou Piniella and Pat Gillick a move they would have made in spring training. But it's because of his versatility that Lou Piniella has an ace in his wild card hand. He's got some guy he can put out there. And McLemore, and trust that he can do the job, not just do an adequate job, do a good job. Lofton close to getting on base.
One after what might have been ball 4. And he pops it out of play again. Lofton's never had a hit against Garcia. Nothing for 11.
That pitch was up in the zone, and Cleveland needs base runners. Lofton wasn't disciplined enough to lay off it. He wanted to hit his way on. Now he'll have to do the same thing. Decipher between what's a ball and what's a strike.
That's a ball, and not by much. So now McLemore's got to be ready to take a throw from Dan Wilson if there's a steal coming up. Mark McLemore talking to us about playing all those different positions. He says, wherever you need me, whatever.
It doesn't really matter. I really don't think about it. I really don't. I come to the ballpark knowing that I'm going to play. If it's second, short, third, or the outfield, it really doesn't matter to me. I just don't worry about it. I just go and play. I'm either going to hit second or I'm going to hit ninth. But just knowing that I'm going to play, that takes care of everything else.
Now Garcia trying to take care of Vizquel, who shows bunt, and he's up in the count 1-0.
I mean, even with 2 outs, Vizquel, he's not afraid to catch him napping, but you're not going to catch David Bell napping, the third baseman. He's 3 or 4 steps in on the grass. Be interesting to see if Lofton will attempt a 2-out steal. It's not a bad time to go. Really, Vizquel can be a leadoff hitter as well if he gets thrown out.
Lofton, though, has pretty much shut down the running game, at least the kind of running game we were used to seeing with him. Only 16 steals for Charlie Manuel this year. And really, Rex, I mean, you think about it, kind of let the dominoes fall. That means Vizquel is getting fewer fastballs when Lofton gets on. People ask Omar Vizquel, hey, you've hit 285 the last few years. Why 255 this year? He won't say it, but we can. Not getting as many fastballs.
That's exactly right. And that pitch is a pitch a major leaguer can handle more often. They can hit the curve and the changeups. They don't like to, but they will hit them when they have to. Now Garcia's worked behind the count. 2 balls, no strikes to the hitter. That's a good hit and count. Normally a fastball situation.
Again, no sign of Lofton being on the move. Now, when the Indians went to the World Series 6 years ago, Lofton was absolutely the catalyst. Is he hesitant to steal now? Remember, because of the shoulder surgery a couple years ago, he's been told not to go into a base head first anymore. Well, that's the way Lofton's always done it. And again, the stolen base totals are way down. In the air, McLemore again. Ichiro batting second in the bottom of the third when we come back. For bottom of the third, game 1, AL Division Series. Cleveland and Seattle, and it's been Freddy Garcia and Bartolo Colon trying to one-up each other. The two teams have struggled to get men on base, and the two teams combined 0 for 6 once runners are on.
It's good to see David Bell back in there. This is his first action he's seen. He had a rib cage injury. He missed the last week of the season.
Now it says all systems are go for this series. Very intense, very successful, but a little shy, a little quiet, and thus kind of easy to overlook.
The numbers that he put up this year, 15 homers, 64 RBIs, aren't really third base type numbers. But still, when you have Brett Boone, who's picked up the slack at second base, has helped him out, Boone just goes out there and puts it on cruise control. He's got a nice fielding glove. He throws well. He's been able to play a good third base for Lou.
Rip, he didn't get it. And that is strikeout number 5 for Bartolo Colon. Can he go and get this next guy? Ichiro has only struck out 53 times all year.
Wow. He can do it all. Hits, steals. His defense is awesome. Look at, he's got leaping, great athletic ability, leaping ability. Watch the throw. Came out of a cannon. Terrence Long was in shock after that. Ichiro cools off the pistol.
Certainly the AL Rookie of the Year, possibly the MVP. And definitely the MEP, the most exciting player to come along in a while.
Very impressive. Now, I asked Lou Piniella, I said, Lou, did you have any idea that he could play the outfield as well as he did? He said, yeah, we had him in spring training 3 years ago. The Japanese loaned us. It was like a student exchange program, and he kind of came over, and they got a chance to see him some, so they knew what he could do defensively. But offensively, Lou said there's no way we could imagine what he has done for us in that leadoff spot.
Yeah, Lou was hoping for around 280, 290, which would take 350.
Wow. And, you know, he's just, it's Ichiro mania all over the country and the world, especially Japan. I think him coming over here in America, it's the grandest game. Heck, it's played at its highest level here. It's only enhanced it.
All these years at Seattle, jonesing for a leadoff hitter. You know, they were 29th in terms of leadoff man batting average a couple years ago, 29th again last year. They were first by far here in 2001 because of this guy.
That was one of the holes the Mariners need to fill. Boy, did they feel it.
That's how he does it. He is 2 for 2.
setting up away is Einar Diaz. You throw it away, he's magical with that stroke to left field. Sits back, uses his hands. He reminds me a lot of Wade Boggs, how Boggs, he used to get fooled on a pitch, but he had the ability to keep his hands back and shoot it to left field. There's Gerald Perry, their hitting coach, who's been there all year long for him.
Now, Ichiro, you mentioned Wade Boggs. Ichiro breaking Wade Boggs' record for most singles in a single season. He has tacked on 2 more here in Game 1 of the division series that brings up McLemore. Now, keep in mind, when Ichiro reached in the first inning, he had ample opportunity to cruise on into second base. Never attempted to do so. McLemore saw 6 pitches. Boone saw 5.
We'll see. I believe he'll go in this at-bat here. Fastball he didn't want to run on. He might go here.
Now, he has been pretty much thumbtacked to that area just beyond first, just beyond Jim Thome. You talked about it. Colon, not an easy guy to run against.
No, he's got a great slide step. Keeps the time down low to allow Ichiro to steal second base. But Ichiro, again, has done a lot for the game in America here and overseas in Japan. The skills he has are unbelievable.
Now he's going, and they're pitching out. Ichiro screeching on the break. Alomar, the underhand toss to Thome, who finally gets him.
Wow.
The only time he's been in motion, and the Indians pitch out.
Great job of managing by Charlie Manuel. Here it is. Pitch out. Ichiro was peeking. He stopped. Most of the time, you want your guy to keep going. They could, you know, the throw could be high or could be off, but as Ichiro looks back here, he elects to put on the brakes. Now, fortunately, he didn't get hurt, twist an ankle or anything right here. And look at him trying to stop there and get out of the way. Better off just running into the tag and not hurting yourself, because it looked like he could have. So that will give a little momentum and confidence to the Cleveland Indians side by sharp managing by Charlie Manuel. Picking the right opportunity, the right pitch to pitch out. Like you said, he hadn't attempted a stolen base in several pitches.
And Hud, you're right. If Colon can go ahead and get McLemore here, they're feeling great about that. And then they lead off the 4th with Alomar, Gonzalez, and Thome.
Momentum is huge in the game of baseball. It's like other sports. It's alive and well. And that's a big move right there. Big break.
Boy, it really hushed this big crowd, too, didn't it?
You could feel it. Punched him in the gut.
Trying to finish the inning off, and Colon does so. He gets Mark McLemore to bounce to first. And indeed, it'll be 3-4-5 coming up for Cleveland in a game that is still scoreless in Seattle. In Seattle, where Ichiro was picked off, officially caught stealing as he got taken care of by a pitch out.
Well, here he is now. It looks like he's in uncharted waters. He's going back and forth. He looks like he's a little confused. Now, right there, you know, thank goodness he didn't get hurt. But, I mean, Jim Thome standing there with the ball, and he was doing way too much. And sometimes you twist an ankle or something there, but I'm glad to see that he's okay. If something would happen to Ichiro now would be devastating for the Mariners.
The game has decidedly belonged to the pitchers so far, Garcia and Colon. Alomar, then Juan Gonzalez and Jim Thome.
Alomar's a switch hitter. Right-handed, he hit 279, left-handed 356. But he's going to see a lot more right-handed pitchers, therefore he'll be on that left side. 421 at-bats, left-handed.
And he's had decent success against Garcia, 4 for 9. You know, in terms of competing for the World Series, the cliche you keep hearing over and over, Hud, is about Cleveland's window of opportunity sliding slowly shut. And if you mention that, preferably without spitting all over your partner, sorry about that.
No problem.
Are you shortchanging this franchise? Is it fair to say they haven't been successful because they haven't won at all? Alomar swirling this one into left center. That's going to drop. Cameron scoops it up at the warning track. Alomar thought about 3. He'll jam on the brakes, and he will settle for a leadoff double.
Great inside-out swing. Dan Wilson setting up low in the middle of the plate. There it was. Garcia hit the spot, but better hitting by Alomar. He splits the gap. Coming out of that box, that's where you get your extra bases. He kicks it in here, hits the inside part. That's proper. And now he's thinking, hits it full speed, and then puts the brakes on, as he likely would have run into an out at third base, and you don't want to make the first or third out at third. That's a cardinal sin in baseball.
Especially when you've got 140 runs batted in coming up behind you. Here is Gonzalez. Little looper. Boone reaching out. He couldn't get it, and here comes the first run of the day. A broken bat flare from Juan Gonzalez. It is a 1-0 lead for the Indians, and we go for a game break to Jeannie Zalasko in L.A.
Well, Josh, the Braves may have had the fewest victories of any of the 8 postseason clubs, but that was then. This is now. And now Atlanta has a 1-0 lead in the NLDS thanks to a 3-run home run by Chipper Jones. Later today, the Cardinals and Diamondbacks meet on a Fox Family Channel. Game 1 of their NLDS presented by Budweiser. Follow the whole tournament on the Fox Network.
Jeannie, thanks. 1-0 in that series. 1-0 in this game now because of Juan Gonzalez.
I mean, that's what premier RBIs will do. They'll go up there, they'll be aggressive first pitch. Hey, if it jams me, fine, but you can see Gonzalez was looking for the big part of the field. Jammed in and broke his bat, but that bat definitely died a hero.
Breaking an 0 for 16 slump. That's the other thing about Gonzalez, the RBI tailspin at the end of the year. He had only 2 in the Indians' final 19 games, so he kind of coasted to that total of 140.
Now, Dan Wilson, he feels maybe a little mental letdown, perhaps, on Garcia's part. He's going to come out and have a little chat. He's falling behind Tommy, a vicious hitter when that ball is in his zone. Good hitting count, good fastball count.
Kind of ironic, Hud, with Gonzalez getting that 1 RBI. That's 1 RBI that he didn't get to tie Brett Boone in the regular season. He hit that ball just beyond Brett Boone. Tommy smacking this one into foul ground. Will it banana back? Nope. Not far enough.
Jim Tomey, he took a rip. He rarely gets cheated. Well, like we talked about before, the power he generates in his legs, and he gets that bat through the zone as good as anyone. He'll use the whole part of the field. He's got power to left, center, and right, but mainly his spot is right center field.
He talked about it earlier, beginning the year hitting a .182, but he told reporters at the time that he was going to steer out of the skid. Don't worry about it.
That's the thing you want to do as a major league player. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. You always want to finish strong. It's a marathon type season. 162 games. What a grind.
"16 postseason home runs in his last 9 postseason games."
Wow.
He has launched 8.
That's coming through.
Now he's got a walk. Garcia has allowed a double, a single, and a walk. There's nobody out here in the 4th inning. Burke's coming up, and we check out the RadioShack.com trivia question for the afternoon. Wanting to know which team won the World Series with the fewest regular season victories. You know, the Indians have the fewest wins of any of the American League playoff teams this year, but remember the last time the Indians made it to the World Series, the same held true. 1997, they came within 1 out of winning the World Series. Of course, last year the Yankees made the playoffs as the team with the fewest wins, and they won out.
Brian Price, the pitching coach, going to make a visit as possibly Cleveland Indians have found a kink in the armor of Freddy Garcia.
Freddy Garcia, who is unbeaten in the postseason. Last year, a couple of very impressive starts against the Yankees. Let's check out what Brian Price had to tell Freddy Garcia. Fox Sounds of the Game.
How you doing? Good? Okay. Let's keep focusing on location, pitch execution. With the movement you have, as long as you're down in the zone, either side of the plate, you can get the ball on the ground. That's all we're looking for, is just making sure you're working the ball down the bottom of the zone. Okay? Same with this guy. Don't be surprised if this guy tries to drop one down. Okay? Make sure of one out. Okay? Maybe not a regular sacrifice bunt, but a drag, one shot, make sure you get an out. Okay? What's that? You good? Okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay? I think back to you, make sure of an out. Come on now.
No sign of the bunt on the first one. Ellis Burks is certainly a double play candidate if he does swing away, hit one on the ground.
That was sweet. Fox will bring you that mound meeting right in your living room. That was awesome.
As long as there are no swear words, yes.
Well, you know, they got a man on the button, too, they can push, but still, that's beautiful. And Price, he's right. This situation here, I don't think Burks is going to be dropping one down, but get one out for sure and keep the ball down for a double play ground ball.
The Price is right?
The Price is right on that, no doubt. Good stuff. He was calm, too, his demeanor was, and that's important. Didn't sound like he was nervous.
Left that one up a little bit. Burks will sail it out of play. It's 1-2.
But Burks, he's another premier RBI guy. He knows what it takes to get the job done. Doesn't have to necessarily mean a ball right down the middle of the plate. It can be an inch or two off, inside, up, or down. He's going to do his best to just chip that run home any way he can.
And remember, he doubled into the left field corner back in the second.
Freddy looking for that ground ball double play.
On the ground, in and out of the glove of Bell, who cannot recover in time. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a run already in.
Great stop by Bell right here. This really could have been a big inning here. Couldn't get the out at first, but still good. He gloved it. He'll tell you it probably hit a dead spot in his glove. He might have should have made the play, but still, it's a good stop. Hit right on the heel. He over pursued it.
And again, HUD to go back to the pitch out when they sniffed out Ichiro trying to steal in the third. We wondered if the Indians could carry that, use that as momentum here in the fourth. They have. Travis Fryman booms one into center. One run in, and they will hold Thome at third. Bases still loaded. 5 up in the inning, and nobody out.
Cleveland has definitely found a kink in the armor of Freddy Garcia. Fryman got a nice clean base hit up the middle. This is the opportunity here. You want to get a big pitcher like Garcia out of the game. Fastball up and out over. Travis kept his hands inside, went to the big part of the field. No chance Thome was going to score.
And HUD, two guys who are a combined 7 out of 50 against the Mariners this year have come through. Charlton gets up in the bullpen. Cordova, first ball swinging too.
This is the opportunity Cleveland wants to seize the moment. Maybe you get a guy in trouble on the ropes. You need a couple big punches to put him out of there. You know, this is postseason now. Nothing like the regular season where Brian Price might say, let's let him work through it. No, every game really means something.
Center field again. 1 run scored. Burks is held at third. And the carousel just keeps on spinning here in Seattle. 6 consecutive Indians reach to open the inning.
Michael Cameron, he's got a good throwing arm, and Joel Skinner, the third base coach of the Cleveland Indians, he's respecting that arm. Paul Abbott, he's going to get up and join Norm Charlton. Javier's an average thrower in left. Ichiro Suzuki's the best throwing arm in right field.
They have found center field on the consecutive batters now. Fryman and Cordova. RBI singles, and here's Einar Diaz. Breaking ball missed. Cleveland 5 for 5 with a walk in the inning.
Stringing it together, and they're just bunching singles. Heck, they're not doing it with the long ball. Alomar led off with a double. That was huge.
Isn't it Seattle that's supposed to win games this way, Hud?
But you know what, though? We can crumble up the newspaper from the season and throw it out. This is all postseason now. It's totally different. Garcia's just making some mistakes, leaving that ball out over the plate, and the Cleveland Indians are pecking away at him.
Right now, the Indians beating up the Mariners with their own trophy here. Little balling their way to a 3-0 lead.
Talking to Charlie Manuel before the game today, he talked about Einar Diaz as being a young kid who could come through in the clutch, who has all year with some big hits. He's underrated as a hitter because he concentrates more on being a receiver and a catcher, and that's his importance. But Charlie said he is not afraid to come up with that big hit. He's in a huge situation right here. Still, no one out.
Down the line and just barely fouled, says Jerry Lane.
That might have cleared the sacks. But baseball is a game of inches.
Jumping out in front, we figured would be so big for Cleveland in this game. The Mariners, really the most incredible stat that didn't get enough play this year. When they scored first, Seattle was 81-9 this season. You get to them first, they're a little bit under 500. And Cleveland has gotten to them with 3 already here in the 4th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, you can credit the offense. The guy's not trying to do too much up there, letting the game come to them. They're not going up there trying to hit a big home run with a big swing. They're just doing the little things here. Setting up the table, passing the baton to the next hitter behind him. 1-2 count.
Got him. And now he gets to the part of the order where he's always been more comfortable. Lofton and Vizquel, 2 guys he's been able to get.
Well, it was a curveball that Diaz just couldn't lay off of. It's hard when you're a hitter and you see all those runners out on the bases. Ducks on the pond. Heck, you want to swing, you want to be aggressive and knock them in.
Lofton hitless in his career against Garcia. Third baseman Bell drawn in.
Now, this situation here, Lofton, even though he runs well, doesn't want to get doubled up. Still, he's looking for the ball up in the zone. He wants to get it airborne. Trying to get some runs home. Either find a gap or with a sacrifice fly. Bartolo Colon is going through a long inning. He doesn't want to stiffen up as he sees he keeps that sleeve on his right arm.
Now, pretty obvious Lofton is trying for left field. That is always been the plan against Garcia. For anybody that throws this hard. 0-2.
Lofton's grounded into 8 double plays this season. You can see there a shade up here in center field. There a shade to the opposite field for Lofton. We'll take that ball up and away and try to just poke it to left field. Ichiro, medium depth in right.
Strike 3.
Garcia gets him to swing out of the strike zone. Nice pitch on the changeup. That ball goes underneath that bat. Dan Wilson, look at him looking at third base. Runner. If Freddy Garcia can somehow get out of this jam here with only giving up 2 runs in this inning, they might get the momentum switch. But remember the momentum when Ichiro got caught stealing. Went to the Cleveland side. Now Freddy has a chance here. He can retire Vizquel for some momentum.
Trying to drive the pendulum back the other way, but driving that pitch down and out of the zone to Vizquel.
Still early in the ball game. Pinella's not in a panic mode. You rarely will see him in a panic mode.
Well, that's the American League ERA leader out there on the mound for him here in Garcia.
And with Roberto Alomar on deck, if he loses Vizquel, it could be enough for Freddy. He might be out. Pinella might come and get him. There it is. Storming Norm Charlton. He's ready. Hands on his hips.
2-0 glides outside. Garcia's in trouble. And the 3-0 is down the middle, 3-1.
Just what you want to do. Take a pitch. He might even want to take another one. And in baseball, take, it doesn't mean swing away. Take means take it, let it come in. It's the same situation. It's fastball city here. 3-1, 3-2. There's nowhere to put him. Vizquel will be challenged.
And he slaps it foul. Now the runners will all be in motion.
But that's what you want to do, Josh. You want to be able to throw that strike in there.
Left field. It could have been a lot worse. But the first 3 runs of the game are Cleveland. Now Seattle gets to come up 3-4-5 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Top of the 4th, Freddy Garcia wiggled through it. Ryan Price talked to him afterwards. Fox sounds of the game.
Good job. Hey, way to come back. That's fine. All they did was put you in play. Work you up the middle a little bit. Where that ball, a good sinker down here. Just when it comes up, all they're doing is getting it up over the infielder's head. You know, that's all they're doing. Hitting short line drives. How you feeling out there? It's the big pitches right there. We're going to come back and get back in this game. Okay? Don't worry about that. You just keep keeping the ball down, making your pitches. We'll get back in this ball game. All right? No sweat.
No sweat, the man said.
The sounds of the game, Josh, has got me on the edge of my seat.
Boone sending one out of play. I thought that was the coffee that was doing that.
Absolutely not. I stay away from any caffeine products. It's the game. The game will electrify you if you let it. And the sounds of the game is beautiful. The fact that he was confident when he spoke to Garcia saying, hang in there, we're going to come back for you. That's what you want to hear from your coach.
Boone popping it up and Tommy tracking it near the crowd. You know, confidence, one thing that Freddy Garcia has talked a lot about of late. He calls them the 3 C's: control, concentration, and confidence being the most important. And I'm guessing those first 2, control and concentration, lead to that last one, the confidence.
Yes, and that last one is the most important one. When you're out there with the best players in the world, you've got to have some kind of aura about you. Something that sets you apart in a non-verbal body language game. You've got to have some kind of message to the player.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Brett Boone. He struck out in the first inning, 1 of 9 lifetime against Cologne. Cologne has not walked a batter today.
Ainar wants it down low.
That's where he got it.
Okay, it's good location. Lots of times that'll set up this next pitch. Possibly that 95 two-seam fastball that runs. The four-seamer stays straighter. They use that upstairs.
Boone trying to set it up for Martinez and Olerud.
In a game of momentum, I think the momentum's back on the Mariners' side now. After he retired Vizquel with the bases loaded. Actually, he got Lofton and Vizquel, and there goes Boone.
Colon carving up the outside corner, though Boone has a parting word for Steve Ripley.
Diaz setting up away. Didn't have to move much. Boone knew it. Another term they'll use on a strikeout call like that is soldier boy. Put that bat on your shoulder and 1-2, 1-2 right back to the dugout.
Boone's actually had a 1-2-3-4 today. Struck out twice. Now Martinez. This year at 38 years old, another year of hitting 300, Hud, and driving in 100 runs.
Edgar Martinez, probably the best right-handed hitter I've seen in my playing days. I mean, competing against him for 5 years in the American League was really something. He's a situational batter that he'll hit to the situation. Every time a hitter comes to the plate, there's a situation presented before him. Edgar will hit the ball to right, move the runners. If they need a home run, he'll swing for the downs and get it most of the time.
Alex Rodriguez always called him the most grossly underappreciated player in baseball history.
That's right. A lot of that is due to the fact he plays way up here in the Northwest. Not a lot of media exposure. Plus, on the West Coast, you know, you're 3 hours behind East Coast time.
And if indeed little things mean a lot, that does help explain the wonder of Edgar Martinez. This is a guy, Hud, who personally weighs his own bats because he doesn't trust the markings from the factory. Daily 2-hour leg exercise sessions, 1-hour eye exercise sessions. This is a guy who does more to prepare than arguably anybody else in the game. How about batting practice with a weighted donut on the bat?
He hits with it. I mean, that's hard to do.
Incredible.
There he is, Gar. I believe he could run for mayor in this city and win easily. But he's a classy individual. Works a lot, charities, in his community here. But mainly, he is a solid designated hitter. Has been for the last several years.
Up too high. Gotta love those eye exercises. They pay off in the 4th inning. Back to the RadioShack.com trivia question. The team that won the World Series with the fewest regular season wins over a full season. That would be your 1987 Minnesota Twins. They got it done with 85 wins. But they steamrolled their way through with an incredible home field advantage. Something that Seattle will have throughout the American League playoffs. Winner of the Yankees and A's. Olerud smacking it. And Tommy getting one there. Back to first. They got two. What a turn. Fox Sports, home of Major League Baseball's playoffs and World Series, returns after these messages from your local Fox station. We've talked glowingly about the Gold Glove possibilities for the Cleveland Indians. Jim Thome's name does not come up, but what a play he made.
Oh, they call this a pick, a blind man's pick. It falls a seed hit at him. Now look at this Vizquel. Nice footwork as he makes the adjustment, slides or gets over the sliding John Olerud for that double play. That, Josh, was a big league double play.
At a big time, too. The Mariners trying to come back after the Indians had put 3 up there in the top of the 4th inning.
that ball is smashed at you on the line and it hits 4 feet in front of you, that's dead man's zone. You don't know. You just kind of protect yourself over there. But Tomei timed it perfectly.
I thought it was all about the long ball with Tomei.
Ooh, he can help out a lot at first base with those soft hands, especially showing his skills right there.
Now the soft hands we've talked about with Alomar a little bit. Of course, he can beat you with the bat too. Garcia gets him. The man that started that 3-run uprising last inning with a double. Alomar this time down on strike.
This had some late movement on it. Dan Wilson setting up inside. You could see how it started at Alomar and then went back over the plate. They call that a defensive swing or an emergency hack.
Each of the pitchers with 6 strikeouts in the game now. 1 down for Juan Gonzalez, who of course is a tremendous talent hut, but with the injury history of Kenny from South Park, to keep this guy in the lineup.
That's right.
There's been something that a couple of teams have struggled with.
No, but he's stayed strong and healthy all season long. But it was his broken bat single up the middle that opened up the scoring for Cleveland back in the 4th inning. Freddy now seems to get his confidence back, and he's working ahead of the hitters.
Boy, what happened last inning now seems like a passing rain shower, doesn't it? He's right back to where he was. This week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show. JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris get you ready for kickoff. Then Jesse Armstead and the dominating Giants defense trying to stop Marshall Faulk and the high-powered, undefeated Rams for other regional action. Coverage starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. And, of course, Fox to home for the World Series again this year. Follow all the playoff action on Fox and Fox Family.
Here's Tomei, the sweet picking first baseman. He'll go up there, and now he's going back to his old method of rhythm and timing. He'll point that bat, he'll hold it out there to the pitcher, and then he won't start his movement until the pitcher starts his.
One ball, 8 strikes from Garcia in this inning.
Soft hands with the glove like Jim Tomei has helps you as a hitter. The hands are important, that you're able to go, your eyes tell your hands where to go to the baseball.
Strikes out the side. Still 3-0.
During the Napa Championship parts sale, a purchase of $40 or more was for you and by the United States Air Force.
In Seattle, where the Mariners now bat in the bottom of the 5th, Josh Lewin along with Rex Hudler here on Fox today. The Indians with a 3-run 4th inning and had the bases loaded, nobody out with the 3 runs already in. Did they settle for enough? Here comes Cameron against Bartolo Colon. Now, Colon has walked just 1. He has struck out a half dozen. And keep in mind, his most recent playoff start had been his most forgettable. 1999 American League Division Series. 7 runs allowed. He got 3 out. He has been right around the plate today with 98, 99 mile-an-hour heat.
Yes, and that makes it even more difficult for that hitter with the shadows like this. Now Bartolo, he's totally in the shadow at this point.
Cameron lifting one that also stays in the shadows. Alomar makes the catch, and we take a look at our MasterCard fan cam here in Seattle. A very tough ticket to get.
Yeah, they weren't even selling any tickets to the ballpark today. But I was mentioning about the shadow, and when the pitcher's totally in the shadow, that leaves a bright background. The backdrop, it's green against the center field wall back there, and it's bright. It's a big glare, and then all of a sudden the ball is dark. It makes it very difficult at that 98 miles an hour.
Javier driving one to left. Yeah, it's kind of like Oz out beyond it, and Kansas right in the foreground.
That's right. And some of the hitters are screaming, "NEM, NEM!" Because I'm telling you, Josh, it's not fun facing guys that throw that hard when you can't see it. You're having a difficult time. It's very dangerous. Bartolo and Freddy both possess that above average fastball.
Do I run in the "there's no place like home" thing, or do I let you do that?
No, I think they know the rest of the story. But really makes it tough. Javier with a nice line drive, but it was right at Cordova.
Dan Wilson, and we talked about his postseason struggles a little earlier. At one point, a 42 at-bat slump over several years, 0 for 42. And now lifetime 3 for 61. That should not diminish what Dan Wilson has done for these Mariners over the years.
Absolutely not. I mean, heck, it's Barry Bonds even struggled in postseason. I mean, come on. I mean, that type of hitter. So it's difficult. But Dan Wilson, he can hurt you any particular time, especially with men on.
Wilson is 63 home runs shy of what Barry Bonds did this year. They count 1 and 2.
Well, still, what I'm trying to say is it's not easy in postseason.
Now Dan Wilson finding that out. And Bonds is at home watching today. Wilson is participating. 99-mile-an-hour fastball again from Cologne.
Bartolo, he's just starting to heat up and loosen up. It's a cool afternoon here. Let's see, 6 strikeouts. He's got that ball working.
Right side base hit. And you take him any way you can get him. Dan Wilson's 4th career postseason hit. Now, the Mariners have gotten 4 hits today, but 3 of them have been with 2 out.
2 out rallies will keep you in it, especially if you can get some men on. There was a pitch up and away, and Dan, with a short swing, went past the diving Alomar.
You know, the other reason that's great for Seattle, even if David Bell doesn't come through here, the inning ends and rolls over to Ichiro to lead off the next inning. Ichiro, remember, 2 for 2 today. But the Indians pitched out. Ichiro was caught stealing, which really turned some things around back in the 3rd inning.
Some people might say, it's just another out, but really, the momentum changed quickly to Cleveland. They went on in that next inning, scored 3 runs. Ichiro Suzuki doing his best sumo imitation right there on deck.
He is fun to watch, not just at the plate, but in the on-deck circle, in the outfield, the calisthenics.
He's very flexible. Stays loose. Now the crowd's getting into it.
Not Moose is in Mike Mussina. He goes in game 3 for the Yankees. You'll see the Yankees and A's on Fox tomorrow night. Well, the Moose is apparently unnerving Bartolo Colon. 3-0 the count.
Bartolo, he was going to try to come back on Bell here. Doesn't want to see Ichiro and that come up with some 2-out rally potential. It's only 98 on the black. And they say black. The black is a part of the plate that's on the outside edges, but it's usually buried under the dirt. So there's a saying, pitchers and ball players will say that was on the black.
That was off the plate, and here comes Ichiro.
Ichiro Suzuki, Josh, if he hits the gap here, the place will go crazy. He's hot. He's 2 for 2, 2 line drives.
And he is the best in baseball with runners in scoring position. He's got one man in scoring position. He's got David Bell at first. Looking a bunch, and it's a strike.
There's the element of surprise. Travis Fryman, he didn't even flinch. He was back at third base, and well in back. He wasn't covering for the bunt, and you know what he's saying to himself? Go ahead, I'll give you that anytime you want it. With 2 outs.
Left center field. Lofton, look out, he's got it. And it stays 3-0. Ichiro almost able to lob one in there to left center, but it didn't drop. Lofton makes the play.
Lofton's the quarterback, take over.
It's been all about Ichiro all year, and Kenny Lofton, you can say, Rex, pretty much was Ichiro before we knew the name Ichiro, a guy that was graceful in the outfield, could obviously steal you a base, single his way on. And Kenny Lofton just took care of Ichiro a few moments ago.
But at some point, every major leaguer knows it's time to pass the baton. Sometimes it's to a teammate, other times it's to an opponent.
The old version of Kenny Lofton is what the Indians were hoping for in this series. That ball skied over to Bell, 1 out. Freddy Garcia, remember, went through that rough patch where he allowed 6 consecutive Indians to reach. And the 6 batters right after that, 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. Now he comes and gets Burke to pop out.
Well, again, in my opinion, the price is right. Brian Price, the pitching coach, was able to settle him down in the dugout after that inning by being very calm and confident.
Fryman had 1 of the run-scoring base hits in the 4th inning.
And that's why Lou Piniella is really excited about his young pitching coach. He's got a good demeanor. He works well with the pitchers.
Well, and keep in mind, Lou Piniella has always had the reputation for being a guy that eats up young pitchers and just spits them right back out. And what he spits out used to land right in the lap of Price. He was a AAA pitching coach for years, so the guys that Lou would demote, that he'd get all hot with, I mean, Price had to be the one to coddle them, encourage them that everything was going to be okay.
Mental massaging. That's the term used. A lot of coaches will do that at this level, especially the young ones. They bring them up so young nowadays. But Lou Piniella, not only would he spit out the pitchers themselves, the pitching coaches he went through a whole bunch of.
True. Fouled it. And they'll turn around and see if Steve Ripley is okay. The home plate umpire had it deflect off his mask.
Yep, and those 2 guys, the catcher and umpire, they always stick together because they both know the pain of foul tips. And they'll give each other time as Fryman will back off a little bit. Here it is, hits right on Steve Ripley's shoulder. You could have all the padding you want, but when that ball is fouled off in the mid-90s, you're going to feel it. Tools of ignorance, they call them.
1-2 delivery. Slider down and away. You know, Wilson earlier this year when he was chasing a popped-up foul, you know how a catcher goes to shed his mask, he frisbeed it right off the side of the head of the home plate umpire and then almost forgot to go catch the foul ball. He was so concerned that he had hurt the guy. He's got to try and get some strikes from later.
Yeah, Wilson, very caring guy.
From the Mariners, with all that young pitching that we spoke of, the guy that had to bring them along, that was Dan Wilson. Broke them all in. On the ground, Bell with a backhand stab of it. Whirls around, safe the call. Travis Fryman, pretty good third baseman himself. He can appreciate the artistry over there.
Well, especially on this last hop here. It takes a different hop. Bell had to readjust, but he got his feet in place with a quick release from the underhand position. Made it close. A great adjustment. First the hop. It's a bad hop towards him. You have to get your feet set. Normally a third baseman will get on top at such a long throw, but Bell made that look easy.
Marty Cordova, the batter. Travis Fryman, by the way, entered today a career 196 hitter in the playoffs. He's gone 2 for 3. And Cordova getting the start. He's gone 1 for 2.
Playoffs are always looking for an unsung hero.
Well, you were with the Yankees. And Brian Doyle, I remember, about 23 years ago. Pretty good example of that.
Also, Jim Leyritz, the King, come up big in postseason for the Pinstripers.
A smash off of Garcia's foot. He recovers. And Cordova's hit with the baseball. That ball is very much alive. Scampering over to third goes Fryman, and Garcia trying to stagger to his feet. It'll be runners at the corners, 1 out. And they'll come out to check on Freddy Garcia.
Cordova with a good solid swing. Hit Garcia, nearly knocked him off his ground. Now Garcia makes an attempt, but it's way too tough an angle to try to make the play. Probably should have just put it in his pocket here. But the competitiveness in the athlete wants to make that play. Olerud was outside looking for a throw outside.
Goes as a base hit, and we take a look now at the mobile speed pass in-game box scores. You know, Rex, we talked about the top of the order needing to get it done for the Indians. Maybe not. Lofton and Vizquel 0 for 5. Look what 6, 7, 8 have done. Those guys are 6 for 9.
That's right. You know, all the predictions people make in the business are basically just that, predictions, until the game is played. You never know what's going to happen in baseball. But now, all of a sudden, after Garcia has been mowing them down, we've got a 1-out, first and third situation for Einar Diaz stepping in.
And apparently we just didn't have enough time in our open. We talked about the 1 and 2 guys.
That's right.
Setting up 3, 4, 5. See, we would have gotten a 6, 7, 8. We just, you know.
That's right. Einar had a chance in the 4th to add on with the bases loaded. Now is another RBI opportunity. Freddy's hoping he can keep the ball down and entice a double play.
That's the pitch on which he struck out Diaz.
Diaz now, he'd like to look up in the zone, even though he went after that one down low. He wants to get the ball airborne and try to score Fryman on a sacrifice fly or a clean base hit.
On the ground, McLemore over to second, not in time, and a run comes in. The second infield hit of the inning, and it's the Indians 4, the Mariners nothing.
There it was, a little chopper right by Bell. McLemore did the best he could to transfer, and he one-hopped it. Boone couldn't handle it. Cordova got in there easily.
And a pitching change coming. We'll be right back.
These MLB...
Long Freddy Garcia has watched his offense give America a seminar on little ball. Today, it turned around on him. The Cleveland Indians with actually 3 infield hits here in the 6th inning. And Freddy Garcia is out of the game. Norm Charlton comes in.
Well, he didn't help his cause there, trying to make an out there on Cordova. Kept the inning alive here.
Norm Charlton, a playoff veteran. This is his 15th postseason game. Has resurrected his career at the age of 38.
He'll use a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball, an occasional slider, and a forkball as his pitches.
2 on, 1 out for Lofton, who slaps at it. They get by Charlton. That will not be the 4th infield hit in a row. It was close. Runners advance to 2nd and 3rd, and Omar Vizquel, who was 0 for 3 against Garcia, got to be very happy to see Charlton, off whom he is 7 out of 13.
They're up 4-0 now. There's runners at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. Don't be surprised if Omar tries to push a bunt to Olerud. He's been known to do that.
One of the best bunters in the game is Vizquel, but he's looking to swing, and he pops one up again. The 4th fly ball out off the bat of Vizquel. And he just javelined his bat from one side of the field to the other. 4-0.
We're finally going to...
7:30 and 11:30.
The Division Series on Fox, presented by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
The Seattle Mariners, 70 games over 500 in the regular season, trailing the Indians, who were 20 games over 500. It has been very much Bartolo Colon. Indians fans, some of them were worried after that last very ineffective start of the regular season. Did not get out of the 2nd inning against Kansas City. And he is sailing here in the 6th inning against Seattle. Tough part of the order here, Hud. McLemore sets up Boone and then Edgar Martinez.
That's right. We talked about you can throw out what you did during the season. And Bartolo himself said, hey, look, I struggled my last start, but I feel fine. And it's a whole new game now.
Whacked over to first. Comey has been a vacuum cleaner over there today. The Seattle Mariners have been held to 4 hits. We checked the mobile speed pass in-game box score. Ichiro a couple of hits at the top of the order, but he flied to center with a couple on in the 5th. He was caught stealing, actually picked off in the 3rd. You saw a lot of donuts there in the middle of the order. Boone among the offers. He has struck out twice.
Coming into this inning, Bartolo was 75 pitches. That's about par for the course for him. He's been known to go 140.
Vizquel charging, unloading, and he got him. Super soft gold glove hands used to be on display here in Seattle.
That's right. The key, though, to Vizquel, watch him. He throws on top. You get more accuracy and more power when you throw on top. Look at him. He just brings that glove right to his hand, over the top in one motion.
You know how Omar Vizquel has now played in 53 postseason games. He has made only 1 error.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
You saw Jose Paniagua in the bullpen. Freddy Garcia lasted 5 1/3 today. Walked 2, struck out 8. And that one slippery spot in the 4th inning really cost him. Colon occasionally has been prone to the big inning as well. He has stayed way away from that so far.
The keys to victory for Colon were to hit both sides of the plate with the fastball, and that's what he's done. Just like that, on the black, still in the mid-90s.
He's getting a lot better at finishing off hitters, too, as he gets older. Last year was the only pitcher in the league to average more than 4 pitchers thrown per batter. A couple of years ago, Hud, he had a 20-pitch stare down with Ricky Gutierrez. Think about that, 20 pitches to finish the guy off. Had 11 foul balls in a row in there at one point.
Talk about a duel. That's certainly one. Heck, if you go 10-pitch at bat, that's a lot.
And Charlie Manuel telling us before the game, he'll let everything hang out here for Colon. 140, 145 pitches, no problem today.
I saw Charlie walking on the street of Seattle this morning early. And I went out, get some of the fresh air here, and that man right there, I said, Charlie, how you doing this morning? He goes, Hud, we're going to get us one. Totally confident in his team. He knows that he's up against a brick wall coming in here to Seattle. He's totally confident in his offense and his pitching. Defense as well.
Right field base hit. And once again, when the Mariners do get a hit, it's with 2 out in an inning. Don't forget, coming up tonight on Fox Family, Game 1 of the division series, Albert Pujols and the Cardinals taking on the NL West champion Arizona Diamondbacks. They come at you with Schilling and Randy Johnson. It's presented by Budweiser at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. The road to the World Series continuing across the Fox network. Local affiliates in St. Louis and in Phoenix. You can find the game on your over-the-air Fox network station.
That last at-bat by Edgar, who ended in a base hit, you could tell he was just trying to hit the ball to right field in that situation. Mariners need base runners.
Seattle has not yet had a hit with a man on base today. Nothing out of 7. Cleveland pretty much bunched their hits together in the 4th inning.
Ooh.
How's 99 for you?
Not very pleasant. Now, as the hitter has less than a fraction of a second to make up his mind, but when he sees it up, it looks like a good pitch to hit. Lots of times that ball at that speed is by you.
Triple digits that time from Bartolo, who's been known not only to throw 99 or 100 mid-game, but we've seen him tip the radar gun in 99 in the 9th inning.
Got unbelievable gift. His great arm, his strong lower body, and he's got Einar Diaz, his buddy, calling pitches for him back there. Working a nice job on it.
Runner goes. Outside, throw down wide, and it gets away. That's not Ichiro. That's Edgar. Lou Piniella trying to kickstart this thing here in the 6th inning.
You're right. They weren't suspecting Edgar to go. The element of surprise. Edgar with a good break. No one holded him on. Throw was offline. Vizquel couldn't even grab it. With 2 outs, Jim Thome was back, and Edgar says, I'm going to take that base.
He struck him out. Bartolo Colon. And the fans get quiet quickly. Fox Sports, home of Major League Baseball. A 4-0 lead for Cleveland into the 7th inning. Josh Lewin, Rex Sudler here with you on Fox today. And Bartolo Colon has turned in, at least so far, a dominating performance of the team that led the league in hitting.
That's right. Now Norm threw 1 pitch in his relief appearance last inning. Got the out. Now he's back in facing Alomar. That'll turn Alomar around to the right side. Well, Roberto he hit 279 in 154 at-bats this season. 7 homers, 23 RBIs. Doesn't see as many left-handers, especially guys like Norm. Norm's a veteran pitcher. He was one of the nasty boys for Cincinnati back in his day. He's the guy that really Lou wants. Lou wants veteran players. And veteran players are usually the guys that you can count on to get it done, who have been to the big dance.
Charlton helping Lou Piniella and the Cincinnati Reds to the stunning World Series upset. The Oakland A's were the heavy favorites. And now maybe it's boomeranging on Lou. His team is a decided favorite in this series. Early returns are good for Cleveland here today in Game 1.
Still, it's just Game 1. It's a short 5-game series. But Cleveland definitely want to strike first.
Seattle will have plenty of chances, 9 outs with which to work the rest of the day today.
Charlton, it's amazing how he's been able to keep his velocity on his ball. He's 90 to low 90s. There's one mid-90s.
And Bartolo Colon a couple minutes ago was humming them in there even faster than that. John Olerud, the strikeout victim, to end the bottom of the 6th.
Here it is, high fastball. This one 100 miles an hour. That was a little away, all fastballs. Kemp on the steal here. Why do anything else when you're throwing that? Linda Ronstadt, she sang a song called Blue Bayou. And those pitches were all Linda Ronstadt pitches. Norm Charlton, he's impressing me with getting up there to mid-90s. Turning it on in postseason. Stepping it up a notch and hitting his spots.
Out mid-90s in his late 30s. And Juan Gonzalez, 1 for 3 today. Drove in the very first one of the game, a little bloop shot in the right center. And what a comeback season for this guy, too, Juan Gonzalez. We are not exactly hurting for MVP candidates in this series. Obviously, Ichiro and Brett Boone got the pub from us immediately, but you look at this Cleveland team, you can make a case for Alomar, Gonzalez, Thome. And yeah. A's fans, you'll see Jason Giambi tomorrow night.
That's right.
Here on Fox. Gonzalez swings, he couldn't get it. It's dribbled at home plate by Wilson. He lobs over Gonzalez. That was something. The ball hit the umpire, came back to Wilson, and he bounced the ball and then made the play. Tomorrow, another full day of baseball starting on Fox Family. Game 2 of the division series between the Braves and the Astros. The Braves a winner today. Then Albert Pujols and the Cardinals taking on Randy Johnson and the Diamondbacks. Game 2 of that series. 10 at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. As we mentioned here on Fox, Jason Giambi and the A's taking on the Rockets. And the Yankees, Game 1 of their series presented by the New York Stock Exchange. The road to the World Series continuing tomorrow across the Fox network. Now, we were talking up Freddy Garcia for a Cy Young possibility earlier. And you will see tomorrow in that A's-Yankees game maybe the 2 leading candidates. It's going to be Mulder against Clemens. Thome taking down and away. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. Remember, Rogers started 20-1.
Nearly identical ERAs. It'll be a great series. But how about Norm Charlton retiring the 3 hitters he's faced, 2 by strikeout? And that's proper. A pitcher has to be able to pitch inside. Now, you don't want it anywhere up around the shoulders or head high. That's dangerous for the hitter. But still, you've got to let that hitter know that the inside part of the plate's yours. With the mid-90s fastball he's got, really sets up that split finger. That's the pitch he struck out Gonzalez up with.
3-1 the count to Thome. And a snapshot of Thome's season. He walks a lot, he strikes out a lot. That's all he's done today. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Olerud scooping. And And running to the bag, we are at the stretch in Seattle. The Mariners have work to do against that guy. It's 4-0.
Along is brought to you by your friends at Exxon and Mobil, who remind you to use Speed Pass, today's way to pay. And by Nissan. Nissan introduces the totally new V6 Ultima, the cure for the common car.
In Seattle, where the Indians lead Game 1 at the 7th inning stretch, our score is 4-0. Bartolo Colon with 7 strikeouts. We check the game summary brought to you by Nissan. And Bartolo Colon. Freddy Garcia, a couple of young, hard-throwing right-handers. We talked a lot about them both. Garcia struck out 8. But he was out of the game before the end of the 6th inning. The Indians, bottom of the order, really doing a number on Freddy Garcia. Bartolo Colon just beginning his warm-up throws, getting ready now for the bottom of the inning 7. And as has been the custom since the resumption of baseball after the tragedies of September 11th, they are playing either God Bless America or America the Beautiful at the 7th inning stretch. They chose America the Beautiful here in Seattle.
By Ray Charles. Beautiful. And what's neat, the players all stopped, took their hats off.
You know, I wish I had somebody to help me sing this. America, I love you, America. You see, my God, he done shed his grace on thee. And you ought to love him for it, because he crowned my good. He told me he would. Every brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Beautifully presented. And now we're ready for baseball again, the bottom of the 7th inning. It does leave a lump in your throat, doesn't it?
It does. I like the players all stopping.
Colon to Cameron. Mid-90s fastball still there for him.
That's a two-seamer. That two-seam grip by the pitcher. The ball darts down. Bartolo, if he wants to come up in the strike zone, uses the four-seam. It's across the big part of the ball.
97, and it smacks into the glove of Einar Diaz, 0-2. Just in case something happens, you've got Baez and Rincon now in the bullpen for the Indians.
But I don't know, but I would guess that Bartolo Colon, this is his best outing of the year. He's mowing these hitters down. Strike one is so important to a pitcher. And working ahead like that with a 4-0 lead, Bartolo is nails.
Didn't miss by much. It's 2-2. Cameron, a likely strikeout victim. He had that stretch earlier this year where he struck out at least once in 26 games in a row.
He had 155 strikeouts total for the year, and 540 at-bats. Sure, you know, they'd like for him to cut the strikeouts down, but you can't complain with 25 homers and 110 ribbies.
Strikeout number 8 for Bartolo Colon. Time for a game break. Let's say hello to Jeannie Velasco in L.A.
Well, Josh, there was a lot of talk that Mark McGwire would miss the postseason, especially tonight. Nobody is that tired. Come on. The Cardinals slugger is indeed in the lineup at Arizona for Game 1 of the ALDS presented by Budweiser. Coming up next on the Fox Family Channel, you can follow the whole tourney only on the Fox network. Josh?
Jeannie, thank you very much. A reminder, those of you in St. Louis and Phoenix will see the game on your local network Fox affiliate. That promises to be a very interesting series. And what a choice that our one-time colleague Bob Brenly had to make. Who's your Game 1 starter? You want the unit or you want Kurt Schilling? It's not like you can go wrong with either one.
2 number ones.
Javier takes a 99-mile-an-hour dart Morris 22 wins, Schilling 22 wins. You'll see it on Fox Family tonight.
So Bartolo using mainly fastballs. Struck out Cameron with the changeup. That fastball's the key. You get that run up there that hard, get the hitters looking for it, and then you have control of your off-speed pitches. You're almost unhittable. Mariners only 5 hits in the 7th. Now for some teams that'd be a lot, but not for Seattle.
From Bartolo Colon's story, Hud, truly a fun one to tell. This is a guy who learned to throw this hard and throw this accurately by knocking coconuts out of trees with a rock back in the Dominican Republic. And Cleveland scouts, the story goes, kept shooing him away from tryout camps when he was 14. He was a skinny runt of a kid, they said, but by the time he was 18, he had filled out a little bit. They took a shot. Pretty good idea.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you know, kids are kids, and wherever you're raised and you're born, whether it's throwing at coconuts or throwing at the side of a barn or wherever you were raised, take the rock and work it. You never know if it's going to be your career or not.
Colon listed at 6 feet tall, and Hud, unless there's been a massive recalibration of tape measures across the land, we can say with reasonable confidence Colon is not 6 feet tall, but just because you're not strapping doesn't mean you can't bring it.
Yeah, but that lower body is key. Just like hitters get their power with their legs, so do pitchers.
Javier bumps it over to Vizquel. Wrong place. Vizquel once again makes the play. Bartolo Colon has been making just about every pitch.
Inside, outside, up, out. I mean, he's been everywhere but the middle of the plate. That's the key. Not one of those pitches have missed in the middle. Big league hitters will hit mistakes out over the plate, and if there's no mistakes made, it's a good chance they're not going to hit them. With that kind of velocity Colon has shown.
Wilson behind 0-1. Again, it's not surprising late in the game to see Colon still bringing it 98-99.
It's been his pattern, but when Colon's not on, he's way out of the strike zone and walking guys and then having to come for a strike, and they hit it. But you know what? That's an interesting story about him throwing rocks at coconuts. I mean, I used to take a softball, or actually a tennis ball, and throw it against a garage door and catch it bare hand. I didn't use a glove, and I didn't realize it was softening my hands to become an infielder, and I had no idea I was going to have a 21-year pro ball career. So you just never know, youngsters out there. Soften those hands, work that arm strength, and have some fun doing it.
And strike out Dan Wilson if you can at 99 miles an hour. That's 9 for Colon, and the Indians in command 4-0. Very much the favorite in this series, having won 116 games in the regular season. They're looking at a short end of a 4-0 score. Jose Paniagua comes on. He will open the Cleveland part of the 8th inning, facing some hitters who have done some damage. Burks, Fryman, and Cordova, 6, 7, 8. Have combined to go 6 for 9.
Paniagua, he has a fastball in the low 90s. He'll sink it. Good sinker, slider, split finger. This is out pitch. But almost every pitcher will tell you they'll set up their off-speed pitches with their fastball. That's the key.
Foul ball by Ellis Burks. Now, a couple things to keep in mind as you ponder the possibility of a Seattle comeback. The Seattle Mariners played 54 series this year, Rex. No best of 5s like this one, obviously, but of 54 series, 3 gamers, 4 gamers. They lost a total of 6 out of 54.
That's getting it done.
It's a team that has been shut out only 4 times. But it seems that Colon is not getting any weaker at all as he goes through this game.
his confidence is on the rise as well. McLemore still with the glasses. He's on the borderline shadow out there at shortstop.
Ellis Burks will take a strike there. It's 1-2.
That's that good hard sinker from Peniagua. Burks, he has a partly open stance, and he'll go directly into the ball. He'll step right into it. He's off the plate. But that hard sinker is a tough pitch to hit, and if Peniagua's on his game, he'll give up ground balls.
One-two coming. Stock to left field. Ellis Burks has left the yard. A very impressive home run. He was 3 for 22 in the regular season against Seattle. He is 3 for 4 today. Long home run to left.
It was loud. As Peniagua didn't quite get the sinker down where he wanted. And that's sometimes a problem for a sinker baller. If he tries to overthrow it, it stays up right in the meat of the bat of Ellis Burks, who was all over it. Stan Javier, the left fielder, he never moved. That ball was crushed.
We are told 399 feet into the wind. Now Fryman looking to double down. He launches to left. Battling the glare of the sun, Javier's got this one. The veteran Ellis Burks. We talked about it. He has been in the playoffs a half a dozen times before. He's not been able to advance. Not all the way to a World Series. Triple shy of the cycle today, and a 5-0 Cleveland lead.
That ball was just swung on, gone that quick.
We've talked about Edgar Martinez and the work ethic that he puts in. Kind of a similar vein when you talk about Ellis Burks, and he has to because of those 2 bad knees.
It's constant maintenance. When you get over 35.
Ellis's dad, an electrician, used to tell Ellis a full day's work for a good day's pay, son. A lesson that has stuck like flypaper to Burks as an adult.
And he's been able to pass that on to some of his teammates, and that's one of the labels that go with Ellis. Tremendous leader in that clubhouse. Cordova, he kept things going. 6th inning. As that hit that ball off of Freddy Garcia's big toe. Garcia tried to make the play, hit him in the back. 1st and 3rd, kept it alive.
You see John Halama now up in the bullpen. He was the last man to make the postseason roster. In there, strike 3 called. 2 out, 8th inning. It's the new show that everyone's been talking about, the Best Damn Sports Show, period. The new nightly show that features a comedian who's a diehard sports fan and a bunch of ex-shots who really know the game with sports comedy, commentary, and constantly updated scores and highlights. What more could you want from a show, Hud?
I can't believe those guys could slam up the ball that easily.
Any show with Tom Arnold and Crucker. Best Damn Sports Show, period, weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. This ball curling. Reaching out is Cameron to put an end to the inning. But the inning started with an Ellis Burks home run to left. And the Mariners, with 6 outs left, are now down by 5.
Refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This bud's for you. And by Nextel. Nextel, how business gets done.
The Cleveland Indians taking it to the Seattle Mariners in Game 1 of the AL Division Series. Josh Lewin, Rex Hudler. Being joined now by Holbert Cabrera in left field. He takes over for Morty Cordova. Bartolo Colon has continued to be the story. He pitched a complete Game 5 hitter against the Yankees in the playoffs. The Indians fans will fondly recall 3 years ago. This is looking a little bit like that start, just with a few more strikeouts. And this will be the inning where Charlie Manuel is watching very carefully for any signs of trouble. After David Bell, it's the top of the order, and Ichiro. Not a great sign here, starting out the number 9 man, 2-0.
But Bell knows his job here is to take a strike. Mariners need base runners any way they can. Seattle, they'd love to get in that bullpen. They haven't been able to do much off of Bartolo. They're going to try to get him out, get a different look.
Strike grabs the outside corner.
But Bartolo, I'm sure he's saying to himself right now, just let me get through this inning.
Vizquel. No problem. Count was 3-0. It goes back to 3-1, and David Bell is taken care of by Omar.
Yeah, watch the glove angle. Omar wasn't sure if he was going to open-hand it or backhand it. He decides to backhand, which is a sweet transfer right there. Off-balance throw, no problem. Look at that short hop pick. That's a real tough play for a shortstop to make.
And Hud, here's how you know that these Mariners fans are worried right now. Ichiro's up. I don't hear any squealing.
The place didn't go crazy.
No.
Certainly, Cleveland holds on and wins this Game 1. It will be a huge punch to the stomach, not just to the Mariners, but their fans as well. Take the wind out of them.
That ball's flat, and that's fair. Ichiro, his 3rd hit.
Here's a shot right over the bag. Jim Thome had no chance. There's Ichiro. He knows that's a 2-bagger easily. It's the inside part of the base. Gets in there with no problem now with 1 out.
Finally a hit for Seattle without 2 out in an inning. Can they finally get a base hit with the runner on base? They are 0 for 8 today.
They're going to get back in Game 1. They'll need some firepower.
McLemore. He made a dazzling defensive play back in the 2nd inning when the game was scoreless. At the plate, though, not a lot going on. 2 ground outs and a called 3rd strike. .98 miles an hour from Cologne here in the 8th inning.
And McLemore, he's unable to get on track. Generally with a man on second base, you want to try to get him in early. Now McLemore has to hit Bartolo's pitch.
He fired it right by him at 99. 10 strikeouts for Cologne.
Here it was again. He just challenged McLemore right down the middle. Diaz sat up away. Cologne says, hit this. Sometimes the pitcher has to do that. Just challenge the hitter and let the hitter get himself out.
Exactly what Charlie Manuel wanted to see. He told us before the game, the key for Cologne, he's got to be aggressive, especially to the righties. And he does come right in on Boone, who pops it up. Tommy, look out, and Diaz there too. Diaz ends up with the baseball, and Colon ends up with a 6-pitch shutout through 8. Five 5-0 game. The Indians leading here. Game 1 of the ALDS presented by MasterCard. You know what that guy's so excited about, Hud?
What is it?
We just told him this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. If that doesn't get you dancing, nothing will.
That's right.
Now the Indians, a 5-0 lead into the 9th. John Halama. Big guy, but a soft thrower. And the Seattle Mariners will have their starting pitcher be a soft tossing lefty on Thursday, Jamie Moyer. But for now, it's John Halama.
Right. And he was the 10th pitcher selected this morning by Lou Piniella. He's got a good sinking fastball, curveball, slider, and a nice changeup. Piniella's got 3 left-handers in that bullpen. Use Norm Charlton. We saw him look great today. Halama. And then they have, of course, Arthur Rhodes out in the pen.
Top of the order for Cleveland. Lofton 0 for 3 with a walk today. He continued his inability to hit Freddy Garcia. Omar Vizquel has not been on base today. But the rest of the Indians lineup has picked it up. Again, Thursday is game 2. It'll be right here in Seattle. And a couple of veteran lefties. Finley with that terrific split finger pitch. Jamie Moyer for the first time a 20-game winner. He does it with moxie. He's got that great changeup.
Keeps him off balance. Really crafty.
Remember, that follows Freddy Garcia in the rotation. It was not about guile or moxie. He's about, let's see if I can just hump up and blow this thing right by you.
That's right. And you know, Chuck Finley, in fact, this is one of the biggest games in his career. Is he left the Anaheim Angels he'd been with his whole career to go to Cleveland for a chance for the playoffs.
Pitch moves away. 3-1 to Lofton now. Seattle obviously looking to the bottom of the 9th inning where Edgar Martinez is due to lead off. They'll come up 4-5-6. Jay Buhner, a pinch hitting possibility.
That's exactly what Lofton wants to do. He wants to make Halama throw him strikes here. 3-2 count. Now it's full. He's saying, okay, I'm going to be aggressive with this fastball if I get one.
Strike 3, outside corner. And the train whistle drowned out by the fans here in Seattle.
Here it is. Halama never gives in, but he pecks away on that corner. Dan Wilson framed it up nicely. For Steve Ripley, the home plate umpire.
Strike 1, outside edge to Vizquel. 4 fly ball outs for him today. But again, the top of the order. 0 for 8. But it hasn't mattered. Ellis Burks having the big day. Single, double, and a home run. The Indians with a 3-run 4th inning. 1 in the 6th and 1 in the 8th.
Vizquel, a switch hitter. Batting right-handed, he's hit .230 this past season. Left-handed, .265.
And again, he'll be batting righty against the slim left-hander Mr. Moyer on Thursday. That pitch hugs the corner.
There's that good changeup.
Get used to it, guys. Moyer will show you a few of them.
Cleveland knows him well. But right now, Cleveland, they're going to do everything they can to get another insurance run or two, because they know the comeback potential of the Seattle Mariners.
Line drive, base hit, Vizquel. Little practice here off a soft tossing lefty. Again, Moyer follows Garcia in this rotation. We talked to Jim Thome about that.
The thing that's made them so successful, that they have had a chance to throw Garcia and then come back with Moyer, because it's different. It kind of throws off your timing. And that's the adjustments that I think you have to make, you know, during those 2 days.
Well, they do get in some practice here. Alomar swiping at it, and Bell throws it. What a pick at second base. Bell to Boone, a couple of third-generation big leaguers. That was some kind of pick at second base.
Oh, absolutely, but not just the soft hands, but the ability to keep your foot on the bag as you're leaving it. Bell off balance. He just tried to get one for sure, but look at Boone. He was able to keep that toe on there.
Omar Vizquel, the incoming runner, he's usually the one making that kind of play.
And that's all you want. On a play like that, you want one out for sure. Boone did a great job of giving in and just taking the one.
Here's a guy that will finish maybe among the top 5 in the MVP voting. You know, the Indians still haven't had an MVP, Hud, since 1953. Al Rosen. Alomar and Ramirez both had MVP caliber seasons last year. Alomar, Gonzalez, and Thome this year. But if it's not one of these Seattle Mariners, if it's not Ichiro, and if it's not Red Boone, the guy you'll see on Fox tomorrow, Jason Giambi, might be your man.
It's going to be a tough call, and all Major League awards that are given after the World Series.
Inside corner, that's about as fast as Halama gets it in there, 85.
It's got a pretty tricky move over there to first base. Have to be alive, the base runners. But you know, you mentioned Al Rosen as the last MVP Cleveland had. He was a GM for the Yankees and flew out and signed me at 17 years old. It was their #1 pick in 1978.
That's why I mentioned it.
I'll never forget that. Al Rosen coming in my living room.
Gonzalez chasing. Rex Hudler, a 13-year Major League career. Bob Wickman getting ready in the bullpen here. Bartolo Colon has thrown 114 pitches and is working on the shutout.
Alomar seems like he's comfortable just staying home at first.
By the way, we invite you to pick up the specially marked Mach 3-pack in stores right now. Get a free limited edition World Series watch inside. Go to Mach3.com for more details. Two out pitches due from Halama. And he gets Gonzalez. He gets us to the bottom of inning 9. Will it be Wickman coming on? Maloney, he will not get to finish what he started. Bob Wickman is coming on, and even though the numbers have been awesome, Hud, are you surprised that Colon is out after 114 pitches?
I am a little bit, the way he was mowing down those Mariners, and his velocity was up on his fastball. But hey, Charlie Manuel probably has a pretty good idea about what he's doing. And Bob Wickman, he's got confidence in him. He's got a good sinking fastball. He'll use a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer off of that, and a slider. But I mean, he could use Colon to come back on 3 days rest in Game 4 if he needs him, or possibly Game 5.
Got normal turn would be Game 5 if there is one. Game 4 if he needs him. And the interesting thing about going to Wickman right here, these two batters, Martinez and Olerud, a history of a very good success against Wickman. Edgar 6 of 13 lifetime against this Cleveland closer. Olerud follows at 5 for 11. And those are the first two guys to greet Bob Wickman here this afternoon.
Wickman, though, he's a tough guy, mentally and physically. He's going to go right after these hitters. Here's a guy, I like his style. He kept his mouth shut when they made the big deal and they brought John Rocker over. Wickman's a closer. He wants to stay a closer. So he kept his mouth quiet and let Rocker go in, and Rocker gave it up, and Wickman was there. When he got the roll back, they gave it to him, and he's able to flourish.
And once you get 2 strikes on you, you're pretty much toast. 10 for 130 were opponents this year once they got the 2 strikes against Wickman.
Man, there's John Rocker.
He was supposed to be the closer. Martinez, however, has always been an outstanding 2-strike hitter. He will battle to try to get this thing started up in the 9th inning.
So, I mean, Wickman, he doesn't throw 95, 96 like some closers will do. He gets you with that late movement on his ball. Look at that sinker. That's very effective. There's Ted Barrett. Sinker slider. 2 pitches. There, he took a little bit off his fastball. So actually, he has more than just 2 pitches because he has the ability to change speeds off his fastball. That's so important. You see young pitchers come in the game today now. They try to muscle up by hitters. And you watch the veterans take something off of their fastball. It's still a fastball, but just a few miles an hour difference makes all the difference.
Foul ball, still 3-2.
Nice play. She's got good hands.
Well, the Mariners led the league in defense, you know.
They did, and she's been watching. Proper position.
Again, game 2 is Thursday. A couple of veteran lefties. Finley goes against Moyer. In a left. All the way back to take it with a little flare is Vizquel. Now don't forget tonight, prime time here on Fox. It all starts at 8 Eastern. That 70 show, is that about Barry Bonds? No, he finished with 73. Never mind. Undeclared, supposed to be a great show. Love Cruise, the maiden voyage follows. That's all tonight right here on Fox. And of course, the Mariners very familiar with that number 70 as well. They finished 70 games over 500. The Cleveland Indians finished only 20 over 500, but check the score. Game 1, best-of-5 series.
Totally different. You got playoff action. Players turn it up a notch. That man knows all about it, too, Lou Piniella. World champion Cincinnati Red. He was the manager there. He was quite a player during his day as well. Many postseasons with the Yankees.
He was originally a Cleveland Indian. Drafted by them, then traded away. Olerud takes. And it's 1-2.
Jay Buhner. He'll be a pinch hitter off the bench for Lou.
He got him. 2 guys that Wickman has struggled with in the past, and they do not present a challenge here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
He mixes them up well. This one here was at 94 miles an hour inside part, but before that, he was throwing high 80s, low 90s, and then he humped it up and found that extra gear to blow it by Olerud.
Mike Cameron will be the batter. He's got to be very enthused about not having to face Cologne, against whom he is now 1 out of 17. And the news doesn't get much better against Finley, the guy who faces him on Thursday. Also 1 for 17. The Indians coming into this one had not been a Game 1 winner very often. It appears they will be here in Seattle tonight.
John Hart's last season as the general manager for the Indians. Going out pedal to the metal.
The Indians about to grab Game 1. They have done it. A 6-hit shutout. Colon went the first 8 innings, and then Wickman. And there will not be any talk of a Seattle sweep. 5-0 Indians in Game 1. Don't forget tonight on Fox starting at 8. A terrific lineup. It begins with that 70s show. And then for your baseball fix, tune in to Fox Family for Game 1 of St. Louis and Arizona, presented by Budweiser. Bartolo Colon outdueled Freddy Garcia here in Seattle. And your final score, Rex, 5-0 Cleveland.
Fantastic showing by the Indians here, coming in getting Game 1.